team. What I expect out of them is at one point today we might see some madness, and I feel like it's going to be in the last game where this skill is going to come through, right? They're going to realize, you know what, at this point we got nothing to lose. We're definitely not going to be able to make it to first place, top 3 or top 5. So let's try to get some highlights. Let's try to make ourselves look good here at Pmgc Grand Finals in Jakarta.
I think what's happening, they already announced that we're going to be having PMWI back in Riyadh.
Let's go, boys!
At this point, okay, PMGC is done. It's just look
Let's
to
go!
champions of PMWI, which would be a good achievement, but as you said, sit down, finals are done.
Yeah.
I was very surprised none of you guys were talking about
Near
Emchain going into the next match, because they also were in a, well, not all of them, but at least Legend had kind of a big moment there with his double nade, and I was expecting them especially to
नहीं तो router पे इस पे क्या कहते हैं इसको
I'm intrigued to see if they can do things
YouTube
more.
पे
Knowing the power, DRS looking good. Can we also see TGK being good? I'd love to see it.
Whether or not that is going to happen, the answer is
कौन सा
I think we're into. Oh yeah, here we are. We are into Miramar.
white color change किया था खाली
number
बस
2 on the day, match number 14. Only 5 matches remain now. What a game from 4 AM in that last one. That was a massive.
अगले साल अच्छा अपग्रेड करेंगे जर्सी में
to be able to
इसके बाद
leap on up, but
yes
the crowd's getting settled for the Miramar match, the first one of the day, the first of 2 that we'll see, and the rest is yet to come.
क्या बात कर रहे है भाई तू तेरे लिए सब कुछ बेच दूं मैं क्या चाहिए तेरे लिए तेरे से लेकिन गुची से बनवा के लेनी पड़ेगी ना भाई
I mean, that's Inco in a nutshell, right?
They're
able to somehow find a way in
नहीं
those
डन मैं
final
बेचता
circles,
हूँ
those final zones, still pick up some points here and there. Getting into our match very shortly, though. So do a quick rundown. A little bit of stock checking. Crowd, obviously.
I think हमारा एक आज इसके बाद सेशन भी है नोवा वालों के साथ पता नहीं कुछ टेंसेंट वाले करना चाह रहे थे let's see
Hello, my friend.
Neo का sound हाँ I know something collaborative content or something like that.
Everyone needs to take a record of when they were here. When 4 AM
the only time when you're allowed to take a selfie by using the front camera. Taking a photo of the old screen. Honestly, this should be a good map though. And again, an awkward playing path over from El Pozo
Let's
to Junkyard.
Go!
14, second match
अभी
of our day.
क्या आ रहा है ये चलो हो गया शुरू
Some of these players and teams starting to really bring up the heat just a little bit here.
न्यू ईयर के बाद ना
Starting to head towards that top side after 4 AM's absolutely glorious performance there on our previous map of our angle. That's going to see them nice and happy towards the top of the standing. A really good chance to bring out something more. S2G obviously not having the best of games there whatsoever for Angle. But yesterday it was Miramar where they picked up the vast majority of their points.
Desktop
where they played
audio
out very comfortably. So we'll see if they can do that again here on match 2. I was saying that it is that.
Guys, can you hear me? Chat में बोल दो अनमोल भाई, troublemaker भाई लोग बताओ, can you hear me?
To actually pick up a massive win.
मेरा सुनाई दे रहा है?
DRS.
पापा बोलते hello sir.
They had a pretty big game themselves as well in the previous game, so it is very much tenuous. I think at the moment there's 4 teams in the lead when you bring DRS into the fold. With Inco just
Neo का sound नहीं आ रहा. कैसे नहीं आ रहा यार? Wait, I'm trying to figure out.
A major competitor here for Angry Men with a bit of a challenge. Iron sights on this. Not super easy to control. Plenty of kick for Mythic and doesn't really land too many of those shots either. Blank, he will not be able to curtail 4 Angry Men early on this drop. The vehicles gained and in operation for 4 Angry Men.
Discord sound not audible.
Good stuff there. Central circle as well, so the playing path not as awkward as we maybe have hoped. It does mean that Los Higos, Minas del Sur, Playa de Mar, Chumacera, a little bit inaccessible, but Torre Armada, Campo Militar, Tierra Bronca,
I don't know what happened, but
most
Discord
likely
sound
will
नहीं
be
आ रहा.
taken up by some of these teams.
Please close
And
subtitles.
a half for myself. I didn't do any
Subtitles रहने दो फिर बाद में बोलते हो उर्दू में कराओ हिंदी में कराओ.
I just stay out of dodge of any dodgy
वो सब
words
चीजें नहीं
myself.
आती हैं फिर.
I've just got to say I'm really fast. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's fine. I
That's
don't
right.
have to do that.
I
So
know.
I just keep it nice and chill, nice and happy. I bring
Shadow,
saxophone vibe to the
कहाँ
broadcast.
लगता है सर्कल बनेगा?
Irish
You bring the electric.
Irish wristwatch.
Cello to the broadcast.
Do you think? I reckon I could rock a cello.
Yeah, I think so.
Give me, 16, 17 years of practice. I'll let you know.
Give me 1 second on the saxophone, and I'm ready to go. Or the saxoboom.
Well, they do
I
say...
can do the saxoboom.
All right, Jack Black, calm down. They do say, though, music is more about what you don't play. So the fact that I've never played the cello up until now, I feel pretty much makes me a master, right?
Well, I think that, the best
Chal,
time
ST, chal.
is when you aren't talking.
Ek chicken, 10 skill, number 1.
That was so incredibly mean. And you smell. There you go.
There you go. Look, we've all got our faults.
Really poor personal hygiene, Blank.
What do you mean? This morning I was blasting on the old
RKS,
aftershave.
आज
I feel like I'm a smell.
पनौती देंगे आज नोवा को.
Personal. Okay, look, that's not personal. That doesn't count as personal.
Yeah, that's all I use though.
You've got to.
Right? That's what everyone does.
You haven't showered. Have you?
मेरी 77 नंबर की कैप पहन लेता हूँ मैं lucky one.
It's a soak in the rain. Look, man, it's Miramar. There's not much water around here.
True.
What can I say? What can I say?
These teams are certainly going to be thirsty for victory. There you go.
That is
How's
correct.
that? Inco still at the top, though. 10 points clear with 5 teams in that front-running section now. Godlike Stalwart.
Quite quickly.
To be fair, Godlike Stalwart did do fairly well in that previous game as well, with the fights they're able to take, launching themselves further up to boot. IHC, T2K, Nova, all the way even down to like Buradam and...
लेकिन तुझे पता है इस साल
out of it fully, but it is
तुझे पता है इस साल क्या सीन है इस साल मैं चाहता हूँ कि इस साल नोवा नहीं जीतनी चाहिए यार
The pack are going to be quite difficult to catch up.
कोई भी टीम
It'd be very unlikely that Inco, 4AM, A7, S2G, DRS, not one of these 5 teams is going to gain a profit on one of these games. Before it was a little bit more likely that it could happen, and it did happen. We saw S2G go out early. We saw Inco not get a huge amount of points at the start of the day, which is kind of their signature move, right? So now it's much less likely to happen because instead of only having 2 teams that have to do badly so you can catch up, now you have to hope for 5 teams doing badly, which is way, way, way out of the realms of possibility here at this point in time, especially when all 5 of these teams we know are absolutely marvelous at PUBG Mobile on their separate, unique ways too. I think Inco has their very interesting central play style, in which case, they wait until that very much end game to pick up some big points. It would be super interesting to see how many points of Inco is purely
South Asia आनी चाहिए.
4AM, great team when it comes to just that coordinated play. Alpha 7, just a hot streak within them. They are
इस पूरे इसका ना PMGC का हाँ
a lion inside the lobby. S2G, and one of those teams that is able to really play well coordinated as a squad, and DRS, one of our edge teams inside this lobby. So everyone's got like a very, very different type of play style, but they all play it to the best here in the PMGC, which shows you can play absolutely anything.
T2K as usual.
And I think
Scrims में बहुत भिड़े हैं लोग आपस में.
Take away from this PMGC is that we've got a lot of individual characteristics with these teams at the top, so you don't have to play it one particular way, you just have to play it your way.
First blood goes over to Kelsey from S2G. I feel like you were talking about similarities and differences in playstyle. The most similar in the top 5.
But I have a gut feeling we'll win today.
S2G.
Yep,
I think that's kind of what you alluded to there. And whilst it is slightly different, I feel like S2G maybe stay a little bit further on the outside for a lot of the game. Well, not a lot of the game.
नहीं उतना lag नहीं.
Through in the mid game. Whereas
Spoiler चाहिए मैं message करता हूँ
central leaning, that might be where they differ.
ज़ैन को बोलता हूँ भेज score पे.
That's just me pointing at for John. Like,
but I normally see 4AM in the center a lot more frequently than I see S2G.
I think for 4AM, I'm just throwing
my water
on the
all
floor.
everywhere.
भाई SQ को बोला ना हमारी तरफ से full support. Thank you guys.
No
Thank you
water
so
in
much.
now either.
South Asian manager. Let's go guys. Let's go mods.
4AM and S2G, I would generally agree with you. I think that what you're going off is mainly our angle overall, because our angle, 4AM does tend to move a little bit earlier towards the circle. I think what they've been having difficulty with is making those movements, making those rotations, and they're quite speedy with it and aggressive.
Is he got है क्या साथ में गिलगिल server से?
And oftentimes it does lead to them getting absolutely demolished by
Blade.
in the circle. Alter Ego.
Belated happy birthday, bro.
I mean, I was a little bit happy about it on the first, but that is true elation coming through for
दिया भी तो
Alter
काम
Ego.
बोला है.
Getting the second onto Alpha 7 is a really, really big piece of news. Not only in terms of Alter Ego taking on one of the top 3 teams, but also the fact that Alpha 7 is down to 2 already here on Miramar when they're fighting for their lives in that top 3.
This is great news for the rest of that top 5 set of teams, right? They now have an opportunity to thin down the numbers in that lineup to try and open up a gap, turn up the heat. S2G already with a point in a central location. Hopefully they can hold on to it, have some power there. The Turkish squad wanting to have the honor of defending their title next year in Turkey.
Would be the absolute cherry on the cake there for S2G to take it all the way home. Max is back on the desk once again.
What's he got there? He's got goodies.
He's got a special little goodie. Is he going to show them to us? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll find out. What's he got there? What have you got there,
He's
Max?
got some
Basa
BTR
naman,
We'll
basa.
find out later.
repping the old Indonesia. Fair play to him. With that, the BTR merch not only brings Max a lot of happiness, it also brings Alter Ego the center of the circle.
Fantastic to see as, yeah, absolutely, that hard west shift coming on through. The Indonesian roster will have to hold off against some pretty fearsome foes, though, as S2G swinging on the north.
Good position. Very difficult spot this is overall to play. There's a lot of space here, which is really inaccessible. Down towards Monte Nuevo on that southeast side, fielded area. The southeast of El Pozo, more fielded area. Last-ditch attempt resorts there on that side of the map. Down towards the south side of Credit Fields, a place that HVP would play very, very often. The S2G would tend to kind of challenge them out on and not really succeed.
अबे गया देव.
Amounts of problems. They've tried to get up towards it, but Alter Ego are already on that position now. 4EM loses arguably their front man, their lead singer here in the Pmgc.
There's too many P's
No,
and M's.
don't talk about it. Don't even mention it. In the Pmgc, Svan going down in match 2. This is a bit of
कितने
an
साल का हो
awkward
गया
one.
पैराबॉय?
Now 4AM have to play just the rest of the instruments here. Try and work it through. Nenebete taking a bunch of damage, but doesn't go down, doesn't fall just yet.
Slides through the staves of Nova. Keeps himself out of trouble with the music theme.
I thought it was
ले गया इनको गया
Okay, Vitali doesn't know.
वो भी अच्छा
He's
प्लेयर.
going to be pretty discordant with that one, and ends up reaching the crescendo in the stage 2.
विटाली फ्रैगर है ना इनको का.
That was a stretch. That was a stretch.
That was a stretch. That was a bit of a stretch. Anyway, straight back into the game. Vampire Esports are obviously struggling. We talked to Satani just a little bit earlier, saying that ideally they'd love to be in top 8 by the end of the
नहीं
day.
e-sports player के लिए let's say PUBG में retirement age क्या है?
Performance, the fact that they weren't able to get too many points on the start of the day. Well, I'll take that back. They did get 2 points. I just don't know if it qualifies.
लेकिन भाई फिर तो वही हो गया ना.
Geek Fam
Noob वाले reflexes.
also on our screens at the moment. That's towards that northern side. I think they fell down quite a bit right now. I think Geek Fam were on a pretty hot start for themselves. They looked good. You're dragging themselves out from PMPL, moving up towards PMGC.
SC top will be MVP, bro. SC will be champion for sure. गुस्से में लग रही है वो. आने दो गुस्से में, आने दो. अच्छी बात है. Saklim bhai, thank you.
In this PMGC.
Like करो guys जल्दी. Yes. Like.
Coming in through San Martin. Stalwart as well in this circle. Alter Ego still holding on to a very strong position with high ground, a very typical position as well.
देखना T2 केस को BT देगी नोवा कोई.
Inco
देख लेना.
dead center. So again, I think we're looking at the Inco game. This is just a case of racking up those rankings, not putting too much attention towards those elimination points. This is not a strategy that will work next year, though. And that's something to consider right now. This is not a strategy that will work next year. The ranking points will be too low, and they're spread out much thinner as we head down the table. So elimination points become all the more important. So I think teams at the moment you're looking at who are prioritizing, you know, getting those high elimination point games, getting those big chicken dinners, these are the teams that will be looking good going into next year.
You know what would be interesting is to take a look at what the points
इसको निकाल वहाँ से,
would
वो
have
भी ये
been
chat में इसको
if we'd have implemented the points change before this tournament, right? To see how these teams would have fared if we had changed it to that 10-point chicken dinner before, and maybe it could have changed some things up. Maybe I'll have to run those numbers afterwards, Blanca. If anyone out there is watching, they can tweet them at me, and I'll be very grateful for that. But for now, Inco still sit atop the pile with a 10-point lead.
Shadow circle बताना किधर बनेगा?
Like, something else that's very interesting when you take a look at the numbers is the fact that nobody right now has more than a 10-point average. We normally see at least 2 or 3 teams at that point at this stage.
Yeah, what we're seeing at the moment is just a real even split between all these teams. And again, this is what it comes down to. You'll see this happen maybe in regional clashes or PMWI. But when you really do cut down to the leanest and the meanest of teams here in the PMGC, you are certainly going to see a lobby that maybe isn't able to hit that 10-point average just because there are so many teams winning, there are so many teams that are making the right choices, and it is just a case of if you get the right circle, you have to win within that right circle. And there are a lot of teams at the moment that are getting those right circles and then are converting those right circles into wins. So this might not be a case of, you know, any team particularly being terrible, but just some teams leading ahead.
Bururam versus 4am.
Where they don't get the right circle, but they're able to get a 5th place now and again with some eliminations here.
S2G पे कल पूरी पागल हो गई थी यार.
At that points total, time and time again.
Silas तो घुमा के मार रहा था सब.
Alpha 7 has a different approach to that. They're a
Team
bit
के
more
पास
momentum.
अच्छा compound है.
Burst out from nowhere, get some big points, then they fade away just a little bit.
Noah का split देख रहे हैं?
Inco, on the other hand, a ranking points-based team, 100%. A little bit of circle look throughout this tournament. Regardless, they've done a lot with it, and I'd still be happy to see them take the grand title.
Very nice.
The drums bring the circle to keep Potato in it.
Hill भी है, उनको सिर्फ gatekeep करना है वहाँ पे.
That he occupies on the northwestern edge. DRS
Infinity पे fight निकालनी पड़ेगी.
In behind that position and wrest control back, but Potato, if he spots that, doesn't want to take the fight, there is a massive opportunity to just jump off with a vehicle, roll over to the rest of the squad just further south.
You can certainly disengage from this one.
ये देख गया. Geek versus Alpha 7.
Looking to finish them off, but it's S2G from the wrong way.
Uh-oh, Revo has to evacuate and will be cut down in the process. Alpha 7, 16th place, they're eliminated. Geekfam stay alive, get to cover, but there are shots coming through from across the road. S2G doing hella damage, having an impact here and racking up the points where they can. That's one of our top 5 teams out already, Blank.
Alpha 7 certainly having their fadeaway game right now. Not good for them. Only 4 more matches after this one. It's not really a case at this point in time of losing that hope anymore. You're going to have to keep pumping those numbers. If you pump those numbers right at the end of the day, it might not be enough, because by that time a team like Inco or 4am, S2G might have already built up that consistent average that they're so far ahead of you that one chicken dinner is not going to cut it. It would have to be one hell of a chicken dinner to make something like that happen. We've seen it before. Be a great conclusion to PMGC, but is it likely? No.
DRS slowly encroaching on the high ground territory on the northwestern side, but Potato, he's well aware of it, and Influence Kemen might actually force their hand slightly. Rules going down, getting flushed out as well by Alter Ego. Really quite big, brings them down to 3, and Influence Kemen can start to move in behind. 4 players alive, and they have really gone for a wide swing here. Potato, if he can just stop DRS from pushing forwards, he can play them off against one another. Influence Kemen, position aware of now. Killer moves in with the auto shotgun, but backs off. Don't want to go for the trades just yet. Federal and Lil Boy close by, and Gianti nearly gets the better end of the deal there. Potato not chiming in just yet. Kailovsky is lit up as well, and Influence Kemen's push has some trouble.
Nade around the side.
Oi, nice nade.
From Giante. Little Boy goes down. Fair amount of damage towards Law and Federal. Can't really afford to get the med kits off because there's more nades, more damage coming through that way. Alter Ego Potato might want to get involved on this one. Delta looks forward towards the smoke. Federal all by
Abhi
himself.
Jimmy gaya.
Looks to shoot them through the smoke here. Can't find
Jimmy
it.
knock.
That's influence coming down to one player. DRS
Bhai,
taking them apart
DRS, OP,
systematically.
Oh dear, they will fall all the way on out. 15th place and no eliminations. That's big news for DRS, picking up 4 elimination points as well. They are 1 point behind Alpha 7 now. How much further can they go? Inco with a challenge. 3 players alive from them after losing 1 early. Nova will be rocking up on them with 1 player.
भाई किलर वाइटी बहुत तगड़ा प्लेयर है यार, बहुत ही अच्छा
प्लेयर available on Jimmy.
Nenabedi making some good shots there. I did like them. Just trying to angle them over the top of that ridge side. Hit some soft flesh where he can. Fortunately, not quite enough. But now
Nova hogi sandwich.
Nova on the east side with the backstop.
Action चढ़ गया क्या ऊपर? हाँ.
4 angry men further out west and will need to push on in. 4 angry men probably with the toughest time of the teams at the top right now, blank. Alpha 7 having already gone out. So I suppose the time is tougher for them, but of the teams still in it of that top 5, 4 angry men with it all to do on this rotation.
We said a best 2G is one of the best teams here on Miramar. And towards the center they are right now. A really
Thank you,
strong
Keyboard, bro.
helping Geek Fam take down Alpha 7. During that initial push, it will be hard to remove them from this compound. 4 AM, like I said, tough rotation ahead over some rocky terrain towards Alter Ego's position. Potato over on Sandhawk, we saw how effective his high ground position was. Stalwart will send a grenade over the top towards Nova. Frozen already falling. Looks like a nade is in the hand and the pocket of Nova themselves. Try to send one back to push action away, but Pika ready with one of his own. It looks
good.
Jimmy goes down. Frozen has a teammate now to join him. Off the hillside, and that is the backup that you want. It's Paraboy from a position further up. Order launches one over. Frozen needing to get res now, and Action burning down low. The nades don't burst on target as Paraboy rolls in for the backup. Inco looking to put pressure on now as they take their approach.
Top.
Smoke blooms over on the godlike stalwart position, and that fight is just about to start heating up. Nova caught in the middle of it, but they are all together. They are all as 4 on the eastern side of the circle.
Not much hope for 4 AM.
जो पता है इसमें मेरे को सबसे डेंजर टीम कौन लगती है? To be honest, इसमें मेरे को फायरफ्लक्स सबसे डेंजरस लगती है.
I think Kengzo might just be able to finish this, possibly, maybe not.
Needs the reload.
मेरे को सरप्राइज है फायरफ्लक्स नहीं खुल रही है इस फाइनल्स में. 4 AM बाहर. Bye.
Teams are out of this game. DRS still moving in. S2G, Inco, all still with the fight. In the meantime, over on the eastern side, Nova
बच गया.
caught between
अबे
Stalwart to their north and Inco to their south. Nade over to the back, found Pika. Order doesn't
come on top, come on.
The second peak from top is good.
Third party
By Jimmy with the micro Uzi at range. Action now last standing in the engagement. For godlike Stalwart, Scry down to the north a lot further. The nades can start to pour in, but instead Nova just want to stay alive as 4 on the eastern edge.
This is ridiculous for Nova. The moment almost feels like they picked up a rainbow mushroom there, because they are pretty invincible over on that side, taking that fight not only towards Stalwart, but also towards
Vampire wipe.
What a disgusting spray coming through. Finds at least 2. IHC really struggling. But Ravenclaw, last alive for Vampire, tries to finish off the fight. 1v1 available.
Ziol, last standing, a sliver of HP, first aid allowed. But the res coming through potentially from Ravenclaw. Fluke will be the target. Both of these rosters, Nova, in the meantime, are still all alive.
Yes,
looking to try and keep themselves going. Ravenclaw around the edge, has got a teammate back in, and Ziol falls. IHC eliminated. And Vampire stay alive. Jimmy.
Shabash, stop. Uda.
Edge. Paraboy with the off angle, not quite able to slow down godlike Stalwart. Frozen, the only player holding now on the main position from Nova. They'll have to go a little bit flush onto one. And Paraboy.
Paraboy.
Punishment found, no knock in response. but a lot of
Abhi
damage, and there's a
man,
beautiful
it's
one
good.
coming through from Action. Over the top of the smoke, 2 players up top to deal with now. Order and Frozen both in action. Top not going to take the knockdown.
Come on.
First spray in Action is good for more. He takes down Paraboy. He moves up and he takes
Oh,
down the rest
Papa
of the as well.
bolte.
The roughest of positions there. But the boys, the deadly duo, still go strong. They make it happen. Not even Nova can bring this duo down. But look at S2G in a veritable fortress of their own inside this map. Still trucking. Inco in the game too, down to 9 teams remaining, 26 players. A lot of teams. A few players still left alive. Fireflux with 4 though. Alter Ego still going strong, looking over towards DRS's position on the north.
Alter Ego have Potato on the high ground. Inco swings wide and does what Nova could not. Becker has been put back just a little bit. Potential to get flushed here. Nenebete close by. Don't really want to step out that nade. Oh my goodness me. Catches the sliver and catches the sliver of HP on Becker for Nenebete. They want to stick this heal. They want to stick this res. Going down to 2 wouldn't be the greatest right now with a little bit more to go, but unfortunately they don't have a choice in the matter.
Nenebete gets knocked. Action looks to steal.
Oh
4 eliminations now to 5. Great stuff. Now just squash remaining. Inco, 0 eliminations on this game. Going down in 8th. It's a few points, but it's not a lot.
Alter Ego, they have
Action
dominant
$2
on this northwestern side. DRS now losing another player down to 2 against the hold from Potato. Action falls and got like Stalwart with them. Inco also taking the knee. And no more will they fight on. DRS and S2G now are 2 remaining teams in the top 5.
नहीं 6 ही पॉइंट ही है भाई पोजीशन की भी नहीं 7 में के हो गए
Really strong game from them.
7 पॉइंट.
And again, not too far away from 6th place, well 7th place realistically, with 72 points and 9 eliminations on board. 6 teams remaining. I mean, sure, it might not be a top 3 moment, but Fireflux might just be able to reinstate their name as one of the top contenders through this single one. Have to make something big out of it. Alter Ego still in. You can hear the crowd behind us cheering them on. See how far they can go with this.
They've already got 8 eliminations and 4 players alive with Potato on such a massive, powerful high ground. DRS not taking it from them. The 8 elimination count will be crucial if they want to launch themselves from the bottom of the tables. But Calci from S2G, this is a team that has power on Miramar all their own.
S2G, again, compound still, and this is why the compound's very strong, especially when you know circles ending around here. It's such a large compound that no matter where the circle shrinks to, a little bit should still just be about in that you can play from. Though leaving this area will be difficult for S2G, so I hope they brought vehicles with them. DRS
मुझे लगता है
playing
टॉप
around
को
the
तो और
shadow
1 साल
that
2 साल दे
Potato
दे.
creates some good nades from S2G, honestly.
बहुत तगड़ा प्लेयर है.
Vampire finding it very difficult to find any kind of respite on that area, on that side.
Reposition up to the top floor from Hamzy. Spots Lutz trying to flow down the hill and will be able to get the spray. Hamzy lighting one up, and Solus actually under pressure as well. Razy spots a player over towards Alter Ego, knocks Potato up the top of the hill. Unfortunately, that would be a really valuable pick, but the blue zone will push them out nonetheless. These shots are going to be so crucial. Keeping that K9 in the hands of Razy could prove to be a game changer as Silas sits Pondbit back.
I think realistically, a lot of these teams just have to wait right now. Fnatic finds Ravenclaw. That's another 1-9 elimination so far. Fnatic, an absolute roll at the moment. 7 eliminations. All is lonesome for him. Razy,
ये जहाँ पे वैम्पायर है ना,
disgusting weapon. I think
यहाँ पे इस टाइम पे
Alter
godlike
Ego,
होनी चाहिए.
patience is the name of the game. S2G's life is going to become hellish when they have to leave this compound. I think they realise they need some more points, so going for these eliminations, risky, but also rewarding.
They don't have many options, and Pondbit will look to start the scout. They have to move
Bold.
up to the ridge line.
Razy loses another bullet. Silas as well with angles over towards Fireflux, who are split right now. And burning the candle at both ends.
To be fair, this ridge side, well, this little ditch that Alter Ego is able to play underneath the road, actually fairly decent.
You know
Getting one bit down there immediately whilst the other team is probably thinking about rotating. That's fantastic.
Cool. I don't even think Kelsey knew there was a player there. He was just shooting out towards a buggy. Saw the tag and went, oh, okay, I'll pick that one up. S2G, 4 players alive and still going strong. Ponbit being the forward guard for Alter Ego, the other 4-player roster.
Sending smokes down the train now, allowing the rest of Alter Ego to move up, move through, some high ground potentially.
Experienced team in South Asia.
Circle moves a bit further away from S2G. That is absolutely disastrous for Alter Ego. At this point in time, they needed no casualties coming through. Getting up towards that high ground position was fantastic for them. S2G will have to move on the next zone, but Alter Ego, they need to play their cards right now. They need to be calm, they need to be patient, they need to breathe this one out.
Spotted Silas, picking up points for the squad.
DRS
It's like lost for Geek Fam. A team that we haven't seen too much of. And S2G need to do the work now, Blank.
It has to happen now, purely because of the open ground in front of them. One player already taken down, taken low, off of Pmgc, Potato. A nade over the top, a good lob. Fnatic still on knee, looks to be picked up. Potato has provided them a little bit of support. And outside the play zone go down DRS.
10 eliminations now on the board for Alter Ego in the final zone. Shots over towards the high ground there from Silas, but S2G are going to have to leave into the sightlines of everybody else looking their way. Fnatic gets knocked. There's a crossfire established, but out go the smokes. And out go the S2G with a fast crash across the road. Razy goes down, opened up on as well. The rest of Alter Ego looking to finish it here and now. Silas is cut out of the fray, and now the players at the back are all they have left. S2G are gone. It's only Geek Fam. The reses are available. And 4 players Alter Ego, a high ground position, and that's all they need. Alter Ego take it home. A massive chicken dinner. Make that 2.
What a way to finish that one out. 2 chicken dinners at the Pmgc 2022. An unreal result. They are giving it out in droves for the crowds, this Pmgc. Really taking it all the way. What a good crossfire they set up as well for that end game. They knew that S2G might have had their number if they were given a single place to look, so they do not do it. It requires gumption and determination and a little bit of ballsiness, to be quite honest with you, to make those plays, to make those movements. But they knew what they had to do to set up for the win, and they just went for it. That is just a case of, like, you know, everything has to go right. If it doesn't, we don't take this chicken dinner. But Alter Ego, they just do not let it up. Really big chicken dinner there for them as well. We'll get them a whole hunk of points. That should see them towards the top end of the lobby, towards that top 8.
Fnatic got the MVP title there, but I feel like Potato was so pivotal for them. Stopped 2 teams on the northern side from moving on in. Influence came in and DRS forced DRS around the side instead of.
मैं देख रहा था stats देख रहा था. Action game 6,500 damage.
That is just the way it works. I think that he prefers to be up in the clouds. You know, that lack of oxygen gives him a sense of calm and concentration, which is great to see. I like to kind of watch that. I like Alter Ego when they have this particular play style they like to move from. But again, a very strong position. It's quite difficult to hold on to that position as well for a long time. They had several spots they were holding in the beginning as well, up towards that compound, up towards the field. They moved from there. They still decided where they wanted to go next. They knew they couldn't take those fights with S2G, so they just quietly tried to finish off, conclude some of these fights around the actual battlefield before waiting for S2G, knowing that at some point they would have to leave, and it's just bare ground for S2G. They knew they had to get as much done as possible, and I do think it's a slight mistake on S2G's part. They were far too focused over towards Vampire Esports, when realistically
Next match
over towards Alter Ego as soon as that Zone 8 came through, because they would have to move. They had to make a rotation.
With that game, that puts DRS and S2G ahead as well. Late game performances for these two rosters to push on up. But the big news here is that Alter Ego play in the rarefied there up on the high ground and take home a big chicken dinner.
Here is Yante. फ्लक्स वाले ने बीटी दे दी है.
And welcome back. Let's take a look at the match rankings. Alter Ego Limex with 28 points. Oh my goodness! Is that one hell of a performance?
Exactly what we needed from the boys here to try and put himself back in a race towards the top, and 7. They played such a good position. Potato, the absolute monster on that hilltop position, clearing off the position away from DRS especially, and giving that information over to all of his teammates.
Being able to fend off people, and on top of that, I love the rotation. They did end up, especially at the end, they ended up getting one of the players knocked. He ended up getting revived too, and it worked out wonderful. Yes. They didn't wait long enough. That's what I'm talking about. The execution is there for this team, and we're starting to see it. SCG, by the way, with 16 points. That's going to be nice for them, being able to bounce back.
Much needed.
DRS also with a great performance going into this match. Again, reaches all the late game of the game before, and they have done it again. They're racking up points right now.
I mean, you said it during that game, I think, 7, right? That you were saying, oh, they could win. And I was like, the game? And you're like, no, the event. They could win the grand final. And with results consistently coming their way like this, I gotta say, there's a clear possibility this could be an Nepali champions after this grand final. This huge, but looking at a few extra stats. Kelsey, my boy, from Turkey, looking good,
but by the way, the only reason why I said that about DRS is because they answered the main question that I had right before this match. Are they going to be able to perform outside of Erangel? And they just proved that, and that's when I was like, okay, you know what? This team can definitely take the championship home.
Talking about teams taking home championships, we got to talk about Nova. What was that against Godlike Starwood? It looked like they had it in their bags, and then it all turned around.
2 words. Top action. You don't mess with them, okay? You got to eventually. It was not the best push from Stalwart. I think we were both like definitely having some criticisms for what Godlike Stalwart did at that time. And Paraboy, he was like super proactive. He's like, okay, they're on a ridgeline position on a road. It's not great to defend it if you're getting just pinched upon. He's like, a little bit of an off angle, and then they shut down Paraboy. That was such a key moment for Godlike Stalwart to get himself those eliminations and take down Nova. It was good, but I think knowing Godlike Stalwart, they can do better.
Talk about shutting down your opponents. Hardware is needed for that as well. And what better hardware than the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV? Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV and Sony Xperia Stream were co-developed in collaboration with professional esports players. You can play PUBG Mobile with Xperia Stream's total cooling system and multiple ports for intensive gaming and streaming. And while we're already at it, let's thank Prime Gaming as well. With Prime Gaming, you can get not only free games, but free in-game content for lots of games as well, such as PUBG Mobile. So if you want to get free rewards, skins, content, then make sure to sign up. And also, we want to thank PMGC, the local esports association in Indonesia, for supporting this beautiful event right here in Jakarta, Indonesia as well. Thank you so much for all of your support. If you haven't seen it already, there are links in the chat linking to a Pmgc survey. And you can find that survey either in the chat or on social media. And we want you to let us know your feedback about the show. Positives, negatives. By doing that, you may get the chance to win some prizes as well. Thank you all in advance if you are participating in that survey. With that being said, we're going into a short break before we dive deeper into match number 2, Miramar, that we've just seen.
अरे स्ट्रीम देखो कितना बुरा बोलते हैं स्टी को. किसने बोला बुरा स्टी को? What are you talking about? कौन बोल रहा है? भाई टीम को कॉल करके बोल दो थोड़ा सर्वाइव करके टीम को कॉल करके बोल दो थोड़ा सा ब्रो we don't interfere in their gameplay. It's their way how they want to play, कैसे खेलेंगे क्या खेलेंगे. PG rule soul wise क्या किसने क्या बोला. I don't think we'll go down. कोई ना बोले तो बुरा बेस्ट टीम है इसलिए haters की जल्दी है. I don't know what you're saying. So why isn't any moderator का है? RKS वगैरह का है भाई. मेरा एक भी mod यहाँ पे नहीं. Damn moderator.
The time has come, so see we are fate. Painted scars of past mistakes. We stay strong and refuse to break.
Matan Shaw, bro. Watch. Some people talking shit.
The world is in our hands, and you can feel the weight. Circles closing in. Time to carry on, and we will be the one.
Guys, game देखो game. Hate से कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. ये जो तुम बच्चों वाली हरकतें करते हो, उसने इसने बोला. जिसको जो कुछ बोलना होगा जब बोलेगा directly, not indirectly, then we will talk. Then probably you know what we do. No way. I don't think any किसी को कुछ बोला. क्योंकि भाई I was undergraduation के लिए. Why do you want to spend that much of money? It's stupid. Spend that much of money on undergraduate. Actually dumb. All positivity guys, only positivity. Okay भाई game sound थोड़ा कम करो please. Okay. Okay sir. There we go, interact. feed वाला किधर गया? अभी ठीक है. इनका कुछ नहीं हो सकता, सिर्फ हेड देने. भाई नहीं ये गॉड लाइक के फैन है, नहीं एसटी के फैन है, सोल के फैन है, बस बसेट के फैन.
Game of the Pmgc Grand Finals.
Bro, tell me if it's still fine. Okay, अभी और कम कर दी. अभी बताना कैसी है. Why players are not upload montage of PMGC? खेलने गए हैं montage upload करने गए. ये सिर्फ गेम पे फोकस है. उनके फोन वगैरह सारे जब्त हो जाते हैं.
Exactly what we want to see out of them. And going into Sandhawk, do you think they might get a chance to win again?
I mean, now when you're looking at the chicken
This
dinners,
sound all good.
they win down like a mountain for some reason. So if it goes towards the northwestern but there's a chance, clearly, right? It does feel like they're confident, and especially when you have a home crowd right now supporting you the way this amazing crowd are, it's got to be a big moral boost. So I am hoping we see another win from them. I'd love to see it.
Me too.
Okay, hi, we are supporters. Simply tell me मैं कुछ नहीं बोलता. Time on the
inside that late game area. But
कुछ
it
भी
did
मत
kind of pay off,
बोलो,
didn't it?
अच्छा बोलो, positive रहो, खुश रहो, chill मत. We are at number 6. S2G 140, इनको 137 DRS 132, 4 126.
And you said it was a terrible game, but now they make it back up 7 in big way, and they're just looking so good up there. But the thing is, they're not even comfortable. Just 3 points ahead of Inco, hot on their heels. And even to this point, still have no idea who will be in first place.
Yeah, I think anybody from that first pitch can honestly take that first place.
Up in
and then
10.
we go here, T2K, Alter Ego, the big jump up now with 95 points. I'm telling you, if they can get another win here, this crowd is going to go absolutely nuts. I'm going to go crazy. You're going to go crazy. And I think we're going to see them at least in the top 7.
You know what? My objective for them is I would love to see them make it in top 5. If they keep getting results like this, I think that would be a win.
Yes.
Alter Ego, if they make it in the top 5, that would be their goal right now, but not an easy goal to achieve, so we'll see if they can pull it off.
Let's take a look at some of the next matches that we have coming up for you. Once again, it is the last day of Pmgc 2022, and especially of the grand finals. So we have Sanhok coming up. We were talking about that last win from Alter Ego, the last big one at least, before going into match 14, and that was Sanhok.
need
We're
one
already talking
chicken,
about
yes,
some of the
bro,
chances.
they just
But go
need
maybe
one
over to
chicken.
some other teams haven't really talked about too much
Much
today.
chicken.
4am, obviously, they did have their chances today as well, but they also had some good chances in Miramar just now. They get taken out by Kangzor pretty early on, though. Any thoughts going into Miramar by 4am?
I mean, going to Sanhok for 4 AM, I don't know. Don't really know what to expect from them. I mean, they're really good when it comes to Erangel, really good when it comes to Miramar in particular. Sanhok is not a map for me that they really stand out on, so we'll have to see. Though one team I want to see a win for, Alpha 7. They're going up the first one. They didn't drop off boot camp. My heart is broken, but if they can get chicken dinner, I'll forgive them.
You want them to jump on boot camp?
Because it's fun. It's fun. Tell me it's not fun.
It's absolutely amazing.
Exactly. My point exactly.
Let's look at some of the teams to watch from both of our analysts. And I was, I'm surprised none of you guys picked S2G because they're still at the very top of the table. And they did just have a good round as well, 7. What about your picks?
You know what? The reason why I picked Inco instead of SCG is because Inco, every single time so far this tournament that they have lost the lead, they come back the next game and they regain that lead. I expect to see that over Inco Gaming. I felt like this past 2 matches, even though they did get a good performance in the first Erangel, I felt like it was super lucky. Tully did end up getting 2 eliminations, but it just wasn't.
How many days remaining? अबे आज last day
It is going to be
We
the
believe in
match.
ST.
Chicken dinner on. You can hear
Spam
everybody screaming in the
STOP, yes,
background.
red and yellow, red and yellow.
Next to the crowd. And that's why I picked Nova, because for Nova, if they want to get that repeat, it
Yeah,
is
believers
now
in
or
God
never.
ST,
We were
inshallah
walking
ST,
around
जीतेगा
before
भाई,
that Miramar started,
inshallah.
and we saw the analysts.
How many days
for Nova
remaining?
was
Last
just
day,
going,
believe in
"Alright,
ST.
we need to
Thank
get
you guys.
things
Top
dialed down."
G से
I wanted to decide
मिले
what was
कि
going on
नहीं?
there, but it's too smart.
I told you I met him twice. Very nice guy. Legit guy.
Esport, but of course, no, it's
He's
Sanhok.
the OG.
When it comes down to it, they can perform so on this map. Like every battleground, despite Miramar being their one standout
I
map,
think Sanhok
they
में
can still
हम
get
ही
some points
जीतेंगे
there.
इंशाल्लाह bro.
Yes.
Okay.
Inshallah.
I said if I get at least another chicken dinner, I would love to see them get themselves in the top 5. That would be the win in my eyes for
I'm with
the
you.
home team.
Also, going quickly over to one of the other teams you picked, DRS. I feel like they deserve it as well at this point. They have such a good showing, not only today but throughout this whole tournament. They've been so consistent.
Yeah, exactly. For DRS, they play this edge position just so damn well every single time. And we said it, they could be the silent winners here of this grand finals. It could be happening. If they get themselves another result here, it will be down to the last 3 matches.
Let's see whether or not DRS is going to give themselves a chicken dinner as well. We are heading over to the commentary desk with John Annan and Black.
Plenty of support for plenty of the players here. Zuxy's not even playing, but he's getting signs.
I mean, fair enough to him. He's a cool guy. You gotta get some support from the fans. Fans are here for PUBG Mobile as a whole, not just
Caster cursed? What do you mean caster cursed?
For
Fucking-
right now, the last Sanhok of 2022.
What do you think about ICT Trader? Should I watch his all videos? I agree with some of his videos. भाई अभी सिर्फ गेम पे फोकस है, ट्रेडिंग वगैरह बाद में करेंगे. कभी सारे प्लेयर्स को देख के गॉड लाइक कूद के पाओ ना देखते हैं यार, अभी पॉसिबल नहीं
kind of
है.
ending that we wanted. Very competitive. A lot of very good teams up towards that top side who are still performing extremely well, even under the conditions of what an absolute crazy finish to a tournament. Massive amount of pressure still on board. Playing path on our screens though as we head into Sanhok very shortly. In fact, right now,
My favorite
heading
team
down
is
from
Steve.
Cow
Thank you.
to Docks.
Game
See
lag
where
gaya,
this one
game
heads.
lag
We did see
gaya.
go all the way towards that northwest side where Alter Ego were able to pick up their first chicken dinner of the tournament. So they just grabbed another over on Miramar.
Towards the top, especially after this game, Blank, I imagine that we're going to start to see teams dropping out of the race for that top spot, for the champion title, to lift the trophy at the end of the day. Match 15, it is so close to the end of what these teams have worked all year for.
Okay.
What a way to capture.
भाई लोग किधर भाई लोग?
Not for anyone really to lift that trophy.
Okay भाई कल मैचेस एंड होती सब प्लेयर्स को मैसेज किया हूँ भाई only single winner then we win championship inshallah bro.
7 put it best. Honestly, this has to be the time for it, right? Because 3 more matches, you have to be absolutely blind as you have to hit it outside of the park every single time. You want to be that guy
check.
that has to make that poor dude run all the way into the car park to pick the ball back up again just so that you can hit it for 6 once more.
You can.
And if Nova's going to do that, it has to be some extremely potent games coming forwards. Already Circle hands up in their direction down towards Painan. Maybe a chance for it. I think the scariest thing for Nova is they've left it so late at this point in time that you're doing it on Sandhawk.
मतलब?
A pretty unreliable map when it comes to hitting those points. Is a map where you just want to
chicken.
consistent 10 points.
Egg chicken,
is absolutely fine. But for Nova, 10
एक
points is
चिकन
not
की
enough. They're
कीमत
gonna have
तुम
to go
क्या
for the
जानो
chicken
रे
dinner.
मेरे
Second
बाबू.
place with a lot of eliminations. First place with a lot of eliminations. Third place might just cut it. But again, you don't want to have to go into a Wrangle and Miramar and have to continue to pump up those points. For Nova right now, certainly a chance to pick up a huge amount of eliminations from Painan, which does fall in the path of a lot of rotations of these teams coming down towards the southwest side of the map.
Nova might be able
HD मारेगा भाई
to pick up a
साहब.
whole host of
कैसन
points
बोलते तो.
for themselves if they play their cards right here. Controlling their crossing could be crucial for their chance at the title.
ये न्यू ईयर पे गोवा में था.
A little bit closer to that title right now, sat on 126, 14 points behind S2G and the top spot. And they'll be looking to try and close that gap here. Unfortunately going down in a not great performance over on Miramar for 4 Angry Men. And S2G obviously doing as well as they did. It is going to be difficult.
Yeah, 140 points.
नहीं गेम अरे गेम आएगा गेम जल्दी है बहुत जल्दी है. Before sooner than anyone expects.
A very good capability to get in towards top 6 if they really push it to the limit now. But for S2G,
आता ही है
the
but
fact that they were able to
बस
get
वही
second
है
place,
धंधा है.
right? Well, 3rd place over on Miramar from a very nice compound. Good
देखना
amount of
irony
eliminations
is
sits them now
जियो
with
का
14
क्लाउड गेमिंग सर्वर भी आप
behind
2
on
महीने
their
से
7
महीने
4
पहले
making
अपडेट
up
था
a lot of
तो गेम बैन हो
points on
गया.
that last
अपडेट
match,
खत्म हो गया
getting crunched
तो अब
away on
सर्वर
the
भी चल
western
रहा है.
edge.
गेम भी वापस आ रहा है.
Godlike Stalwart playing in boot camp central.
यही तो है.
Yet to make
असली
their
गेम
full
तो ये
decision on rotation.
यहाँ ये
to move
चूतिए
down
लड़ते
to the
रहेंगे एक
southwest
दूसरे
of
के
the island
साथ.
potentially. Most likely we will be finishing
बड़ी
up
गेम
there,
सुन
so
बड़ी गेम.
at least getting to the compounds to their southwest on the confluence of the rivers on that trifecta compound blank could be a good decision for Godlike Stalwart, because remember they're on 110, they're an outside shot, but they are still very much a horse in the race.
इसको पूछ
I
किसने
think
बोला.
that is something that we need to consider. They do keep having these
ने सुना होगा पनवाड़ी की दुकान पे सिगरेट खरीदते खरीदते सुना
matches
होगा.
today and yesterday, in fact, with top at the start of the day being the highest damage dealer by quite a fair bit as well.
आप बोलेंगे नहीं.
Put in the work for the team. Inco versus DRS. Scary engagement for the Inco here. I do think that DRS brings a lot more firepower to punch here. Inco
कोई बोलेगा रिपब्लिक डे पे आ रही है.
does provide them with a little bit of safety.
Tencent.
Forward. DRS still looking to push in on this one though.
I feel like
Disgusting shots, though.
on the
Very
defense,
nice.
Inco have had lots of practice. So if they are given a compound like this to hold, this is them at their best. And DRS, again, same as what you said, on their best performance.
Exactly. This is their kind of best scenario. It's a very, very good point, John, in the sense that
इनको पे
Inco is
कौन चढ़
playing
गया? अबे
very
DRS ने
episodic
DRS ने
gameplay.
दे दिया.
DRS is the one who is very good with the battering ram, pushing in from
मारो
the edge
मारो
side.
मारो मारो एक दूसरे को.
Nades come through. DRS is playing this marvelously, backing off. Texas two-step here, not allowing Inco to get
Ek
anything
gaya.
done, and Nenebete falls from Delta.
That was the position on the outside as well.
DRS के पास ज़्यादा अच्छा
Off
angle है.
angle from Nenebete is dealt with, handled, and two players from DRS are going to start to move on this hillside. Look how far away Giante and Delta are, but they do not lack the confidence here. DRS are going to play off against one another, sees Nenebete get behind the rock, and the information should be gathered on over. No nades for rules to be able to lob that behind, no Molotovs either. And teammate just suppressing those angles. Vitali in the compound for Inco. And actually, Nenebete
भाई सब बढ़िया
spotted
top
for rules, does get a
3.
little tickle of damage, and up in the hunting tower. Killer doesn't quite find a knock either. He's small amount of healing can start to come through. Vitali wants to leverage position. This is a crucial fight with Inco on 3 players already.
ये गया मेटाली पे नेट. देख 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 देख. मार डेल्टा. मार डेल्टा.
Slip just a little bit.
Delta with a nade. Could go straight through that window there. Lobs it in. Vitali's fine. Good sprays though. Vitali takes a lot of damage. We'll go for the pre-spray on the window. Delta runs back. That could be bad news. Vitali does not peek out quick enough, and Delta finds himself in a very strong spot. In the meantime, Squash goes very low, goes down now. Vitali, last member remaining. Inco, 137 in second place, crumbling at this point in time.
This is massive for DRS. A nade out through the window, and Vitali now last standing. A massive powerhouse for Inco during the games we've seen so far, the first 14 matches, but in match number 15, he has to go 1 versus 4 against DRS, who started the game 4 points behind them. With this final point, they will find the equalizer. They are neck and neck now, second place for both teams.
DRS must be extremely happy with that one. Both in the same type of position too. And for Inco, this is a similar rotation, so you wonder if DRS have targeted this.
circle देख रहा है क्या बना?
Does not allow them to go for their classic approach in towards the circle. Alpha 7 though versus S2G, currently low on members.
Alpha 7 getting pushed down the pecking order somewhat in that last game, looking to try and slow the lead.
अबे ये S2G Alpha 7 शाबाश. मारो एक दूसरे को. मारो एक दूसरे को. अरे मारो एक दूसरे को. नेड़ों की बारिशें कर दो S2G पे. ओ गए 3.
No peaks being made by Alpha
ये
7.
तो पूरा जूते चप्पल मार रहे हैं यार इसको. Very good, very good. Team खत्म.
One player remains. It's Kelsey.
Kelsey does send out a dodge. 7 was saying he'd love to see
Fight
Alpha
for
7
the
coming
position
on top here
points.
on Sandhawk. They're certainly an aggressive team. They work well on Sandhawk as a
भाई
whole.
इनको स्टारवर्ड की
Nades
टीम
were
है क्या
perfectly
जी?
placed. In the meantime, though, we do
इनको
have a
हमारी टीम
rotation
है भाई.
coming
स्टारवर्ड.
through. One of the first of Pmgc 2022. It's 4 AM.
स्काउटिंग
All the
बोल
way
दे
from
भाई.
docks, and you wonder where they're going to sit in place. Maybe drop up towards where Wolves are
Nah.
playing. In Tambang, be a potential position to rock up towards, or towards that western side of Bantai. Also a pretty good position to play from. Maybe going for more of an edge play here for 4 AM. But again, I think this is another very important.
ये गई बुरुरा. गया. ये तो सीधे मुर्मुखी के छत्ते में घुस गया.
Really will take some
ये
special
shotgun.
for them to get towards the top. Back in that conversation, John.
Crashing into Vampire's position. 1 and 2 fall. 9AP.
गई बुरुराम भी.
Joined by Sky Only as well. Third player to fall for Bururam and Vampire. This is a solid
भाई मैं
hold
shocked हूँ
by
यार इसमें भी
Bururam.
वैम्पायर की
Allow them
परफॉर्मेंस
to
से. सच
step
पूछे
into the Lion's Den.
तो. I was expecting them to be performing really good.
Keep on going. Bottom of the tables for Vampire, but even they have so much power to play with.
शॉटगन लेके आ गया. भाई.
So difficult to make headway.
अरे पीछे से DRS ने दे दिया.
Finally, they're able to pick up the points against Bururam. 4 eliminations. They crossed that 60-point threshold.
Finally.
यहाँ से IHC और alter ego. शाबाश.
Again, though, as we said before, no one's really on that 10-point average at the moment, so it's really still quite malleable in terms of gaining those points, getting higher within the tables
जैसी
itself.
कब जी वालेकुम सलाम ब्रो. तकिर भाई बहुत जोर से दंडक हो रहा है. हमको भी हो रहा है भाई.
Further outside of the zone on their botation. Could even drop up towards IHC and Alter Ego, just as outside Camp Alpha, though I do think we might see this engagement come through between IHC and Alter Ego. Already those Yol down. This is a great opportunity for Alter Ego. Renorex moves around the side, DBS, just a bit of damage, but not enough.
Alex goes for the full lap of the compound and takes a little bit too much damage there from Pombit. Has to back off though. Nade in hand.
IHC, shabash, come on, South
very,
Asia.
very troublesome for IHC if he able to land it right around the edge or put it into the building as well. Pombit wants to
शायद भूल गया इसके हाथ में नहीं है.
back up to the building he has for cover. And Alter Ego playing it a little bit smarter. IHC allowed to get the res, however, and now both of these teams have to share it, 4 apiece. 2 buildings held, and a lovely little angle from Fnatic. The high ground
Really
held.
nice,
What a rotation
Demo,
from him.
yeah.
Gets the flush over onto Demo. Needs to be worried from the side, and Tiol does not manage to slip it on through. Nade over the top might be able to do the job, though. And if Fnatic goes down here, they might turn it topsy-turvy. A lovely reposition away.
He runs from there.
Excellent heads-up play from Fnatic to keep that high ground under control, and in goes Alter Ego. Godless and Alex on the inside. The
गई shotgun लेके गया.
Two to step forwards, Godless finds a second, and the third is there. It's all coming crumbling down. Only Fnatic now standing for Alter Ego. It looked so hopeful when they taken down Demo, but now they're left high and dry with only Fnatic.
The 3v3 could have been there, but I think with that man advantage, you never push on that.
Alpha 7 का एक player गया है ना? हाँ, Vampire निकाल लेगी ये. भाई Vampire PMW है ना, pull out कर दे last के दिन पे 108 point, 106 point.
New type of sensation, just wanting to push it out. Now Fnatic just has to live for a little bit longer. Real unfortunate.
वो नहीं, Vampire के तो 4 हैं, Alpha 7 की 3 है. ये गया
bridge, but a lot of water in this one, not a lot of places to play. 4AM ditches their boat, will start to swim towards the docks of Tambang.
Somehow it's the best strategy out of a lot of these teams from the top 5. I would say in this next circle it's probably about 30% playable terrain at this stage, Blank, if you don't count the water.
Oh, please caption बंद कर दो. Okay.
Technically playable, but even then it's going to be very, very tricky. Not only that, but you've got a lot of shallows in that water, which you can't hide
मुझे लगता है
around there.
नहीं देगा.
No, it's very difficult, and I think that even if
4AM तो मतलब गंदी जगह पे.
is sort of not what you want right now, particularly with the fact that it most likely will move away from there. Could even end up on the bridge, you know, which would be absolutely crazy. Alpha 7 moving up out of the blue now, just getting out of it, heading up towards T2K's location. S2G still in the game with Calci all the way on that northern edge by IHC.
With the eliminations that Nova have been able to find so far, 2, they do break into 3 digits. 101 points now. We said at the start they need a big game, every game from here on out. They are still as 4, and they're on the southeast side, and pretty much the center of the playable terrain. Mythic spotted, cut out, and Vampire continue picking up their 5th elimination of the game.
A7 जानी चाहिए भाई, A7 यहाँ पे जानी
To
चाहिए.
push them back though, and Schwepp.
Shotgun. Oh, big shotgun.
He gets it as well.
Oh my goodness me, but not going to be good enough, unfortunately. A third party comes on in, and that is beautiful news for Vampire to keep themselves alive, but my, what a go of it from Alpha 7. Shift comes in, it's all the way down south, and 4 Angry Men, with a rotation, playing out in the water, somehow, Blank, have one of the best positions in this next circle.
Extremely strong. I think the real question for me is, can they get up onto the coastal side? Currently still in the water. Most likely we'll have to move up towards the docks on the northern side that Influence Kemen are currently holding on to.
Yeah, it's your ST, right?
Certainly still playable. Question is, how much loot do they still have? They weren't out in the blue for a very long time either, considering how much water was still in. I think they played that very exceptionally well. Just because you're on that western side anyway, usually they might have thought about dropping in earlier on the south, but they understood that there's so much water out there. We're outside that 400-meter LOS range, so we can just drop out the vehicle. No one even knows we're here. We swim towards the coastal side. It's not likely anyone's going to be looking at that coast anyway if they didn't see a boat in the first place. So for 4 AM, this is a very heads-up play. It will kind of run on the curtails on the fact that if they can get up onto the island itself without influence Kevin's spotting.
Some more
ये तो फ्री की किले मिल गई 4 AM को. अबे देख तो सही कहाँ से.
off the Fnatic. Trying to live his best dolphin.
They're sitting ducks in the water.
Going to struggle with it. 3 players in pursuit.
जी का run fight अच्छा है, उनसे निकालनी
Nova
पड़ेगी.
playing on the eastern side of the circle, just to the southwest of ruins, will be guarding out DRS.
ये देख IHC तो सीधे influence Kevin के लिए मतलब lollipop.
Nova's progression, but DRS's to try and climb up those tables towards S2G, who are still going, by the way, with Kelsey on the northern shore, but I'm sure that's going to be very difficult to make any more headway.
WWX making a dangerous move right now.
Low.
Swinging over the top side of this rock. Fnatic doesn't take too much damage, but
DRS.
IHC unfortunately spotted much quicker. DRS
Bordler.
towards Nova's position, but gets sent back fairly quickly here.
IHC ये तो नसीब.
Now, the rest of 4 AM, frozen though.
DRS versus Nova.
Heavy hit there, but DRS
Le.
is just slowly but surely bleeding out as the bullets find the target too many times.
Just Delta
5
remaining
elimination.
under the purview of Nova, who seems to have taken it up a notch. 5 eliminations now again, and Nade is going to cross with the one from Frozen. And Delta takes a little bit of damage. Frozen and Jimmy playing off that same angle, trying to move on forwards as much as they can. As Godlike Stewart on the northern side clashed with Influence Kemin. It's
ST slamming on ST influence Kemin. Nice.
Northern side.
Nice.
If DRS go down here,
shit. Eggnog.
it is going to be so close with Kelsey almost certainly going down fairly soon. I think he's still healing right now in the blue zone. We saw that strategy go a little bit down the pan with the changes to the circles that we saw, but you can still get to maybe a top 8 if you're lucky.
ये भी गया.
Top 8 certainly still available. Stalwart moves up though. Influence Kemin taking punishment here from them. Pika moves in, finds another little boy. I think last remaining now for the team. Wolves in the meantime keeping Geek Fam off their doorstep.
Pushing them back. Pick feet, the only casualty so far for Wolves.
ये वो वाला एंगल बहुत बसड़ वाला है.
Over to try and play spoiler.
उनको 4 AM BT देगा यार बहुत
So
बड़ी.
the top of the tables is down and out. Delta most likely not long for
Wait, miss हो गया.
and the nades from Nova start to pour in through the windows. One more launched on in for Order. 3 eliminations for Order, 3 for Paraboy right now. And they're going to try and add that one as well.
उनको पीछे से DRS वाला बहुत बुरी BT देगा. नोवा को देख लेना.
Chinese team pushing onto Chinese team, but Memory shuts down Frozen's close position. A second knock over
दो खत्म order.
Order. Jimmy wants the res on the player towards the back. Paraboy still active. Order super low. And
Very good, very good, very good.
1 versus 3 on the hold. Needs to push in, but Delta's still there. DRS are still going, and they might be the spoiler that they were looking for. Frozen.
Delta नहीं निकालेगा भाई. Zone से बाहर, zone से मत
And
जाए.
Jimmy, Resable here, sure, but the nades can come from the Wolves and Paraboy. He's not looking his back. He's not checking his 6.
अबे
Delta
खत्म.
might move on through and play complete spoiler. Delta falls to Geek.
Delta भी और Nova भी.
Party, and Nova are going to stay alive for it.
Geek भी बाहर.
Up here, 33 Zan. Also on that western side, have been watching as Fnatic and IHC have rolled in, giving the information back. WWX looks over towards that spot, and Zjol might just try and play spoiler, but the information's already been gathered, it's already been thrown through, and already 4 AM are starting
पूरा
to
साफ करके चलना पड़ेगा.
flow down towards this south side. And Fnatic's still going for Alter Ego.
Let's take a minute to talk about Vampire, though. They have reached 10 eliminations. They hold a massive high ground compound in this next circle, Blank. We've seen them take a fight. They held out Buriram really nicely, and they've been leveraging their position ever since.
अबे
It's going to be difficult to remove Vampire from this spot. They knew they needed the big game. Scry tries to run across, but it's over open ground. It was only a matter of time before some of those shots hit, and this is the Pmgc.
बहुत
This is
मुश्किल
where
है.
the players don't
बहुत
miss.
मुश्किल है
You
तुम.
give them an easy shot and you go
पीका
for
भी
the
गया.
games.
Speaking of, Paraboy and Jimmy lighting it up against Godlike Stalwart on the hillside. The Wolves still in their compound, holding out Nova with the blue zone pushing in. They do need to go for this fight. It was slowed down earlier and taken out of the mix.
Top अच्छे angle में आ रहा है.
Teams are really not willing to give any ground. 4 angry men want to go on the chase. They have
अरे nice. Shabash. Top shabash.
2 players active for Godlike Stalwart. Fnatic still in the water.
Paraboy Nova बाहर.
Look at roll that one up. Paraboy
Nova गई.
Find the last as well, and Wolves alive with 3. 7th place, 6 eliminations. It's not terrible, but Blank, they needed more than that.
They did need more than that.
अबे Zeol गया. Zone से ये गया.
Spam was a bit
गया.
weird.
अबे भाई.
The only saving grace is a nade takes down top. WWX has to hit this first aid kit soon, but he's out into the open now. I think 4AM's going to struggle.
4AM भी गई.
Down to just one player in WWX.
4AM भी
He
गई.
has to hit one of these shots.
5th place for Alter Ego. Ravenclaw nearly gets away with it, but WWX Meerkat's back.
हाँ एक्शन चलता है. वो वुल्फ वाला गया उस पे.
In and play from the bottom of the hill that everybody else has struggled with so much, but underneath them, it's action and maybe a little bit of an unknown X factor here. I don't think they know. They're certainly not aware. Steps up, pick feet. Oh, he's whiffed the spray completely. Action now. 3 players bearing down right upon him.
He's
somehow
away.
gets to some sort of semblance of safety, but he's finally sought out.
Top 3 लेके आ गया भाई. Top 3. Fair point.
Wolves versus Vampire, and Vampire up on high. But it's a 4v4, an unlikely setting here on Sandhawk that we see this type of engagement. Both sides own some cover. There's a row between both of them. But Vampire want to end up in the top 8 today.
Okay.
Sir Tani was saying earlier, the coach from the team, this will have to be the clean 1v4. 4v4.
They started the game on
Xerox.
157.
That is true.
So they are going to need to.
Bro, I don't like that Turks to win, bro. I want Turks to win. Turks are our brothers. Bada hi sahi.
14 eliminations.
Fireflux are my brothers, man. I don't know S2D. S2D shouldn't win. ST should win.
Already today, Blank coming on through, but Pick Feet has other ideas. Memory has
अभी ये बचा कैसे? ये तो मुंह पे फटा है इसके.
For the Wolves, 15 eliminations on the card. 4 Vampire with 3 more left to gain. 1 more now stands between them and the chicken dinner. It is Vampire from the bottom of the tables. The looks of relief on their faces.
Point table.
As they pick up.
I think हम अभी कितने पे हैं? 5 पे 6 पे 5 पे.
33 points on the game. That will see them up to 90 points now, Blank.
One of the most inconsistent teams I've seen in a long time. And one
Vampire को फिर से मैंने बोला ना माता ना आ जाए. Last time Vampire ने PMW में 2 के 2 after party में भी और इसमें भी. दोनों में ऐसे ही bottom से direct top पे आ गई.
Fluctuates in performance like this so often. PMWI was a great example when they were up on their numbers, right? And again, this is the type of game that we saw so often from them. And it looked almost effortless over the time when they went up against Alpha 7. But other than that, it was effortless for them.
Let's go,
they made all the right moves
ST,
at all the right
let's go.
times. They were taking some incredible shots, which were pinpoint accurate, by the way. And that end game, which is a case
कितने
of
110 थे अभी 123 पॉइंट हो गए.
it was just a
140 is still number
over the top, all perfectly placed. Bish bash bosh, the fight's done.
Well, they wanted to be in the top 8, Blank, and they
4AM I think 4th है हम 5th
to
है.
do that here with a big chicken dinner. 18 eliminations and a chicken deer?
Whoa.
Chicken dinner for Vampire Esports.
Not sure what a chicken dinner is, but I do believe we've had a chicken dinner in our hands anyway.
I mean 4AM को meta advantage भी यार वो बहुत खेल चुके हैं उस meta में. पहले क्या है ना ये.
At least Sandhawk, and that is something I think none of us actually. Did one of you pick? Oh my goodness.
बाकी teams को adjust करने में time लगता है.
If that isn't the prediction of the century.
Remember earlier when you were trying to ask a question about Vampire if they can make the first place, and I just absolutely cut you off, but I also said that this team does have the potential to get a win today and just showcase their skill, because we know they have the skill. I mean, we got a chance to see it firsthand when we were at PMWI earlier last year, actually. It's just, as Blank put it best, like, it's one of the most inconsistent, consistent teams out there, and they're just fun to watch.
Yeah, they're really fun to watch, to be honest. That push on Alpha 7 was like, this is actually a good push. Good push. Then Cario had the DBS. then it was not a fun push anymore for them. So, as stated, then very inconsistent team when it comes down to it. And for this event, not been looking so good so far. But no, this is just like a little explosion. Like we're still here, guys. Don't forget about us. And they'll get a little bit of a price pool increase too. But as you said, Sir Tani said, if they can get himself in that 8th position, that is going to be their objective. And with games like that, it's definitely in arm's reach.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Maybe one team that we saw in the late game as well that I want to touch on, Wolves. They still haven't gotten a chicken dinner in Pmgc 2022 in the grand finals, but they've come so close just now. Is it something you expect to happen?
I didn't hear the team name. Can you say that? The team
Wolves. Wolves is what I mean.
Yes, I think it could be happening for sure. I mean, I think that the way they pushed out that compound more specifically was really good on the player was talking about. They're lucky. If TGK do not third party that fight, 7, I think we lose both teams potentially to like whatever the hell is happening in that fight. But TGK saves it up for VP.
Why you gotta bring that up? Why you gotta bring that up? With Alpha 7, by the way, they're
तूने ये वैम्पायर वाला नेड देखा क्या 4 AM पे जो गया अभी
when Vampires was it and push was there with the match ranking. Here we go, 33 points. I mean, that's definitely gonna put them closer to that top 8. Which one do you have in mind?
I was going to say VP. I was going to say that was not like celebration. That was just relief on their faces after that game.
पूरे PMGC में एक चिकन भी नहीं है अभी तक तो एक तो बनता है
About how this team definitely needs to react, and it's good that they did that because guess what? Inco Gaming 0 points. S2G Sports 2 points and then Alpha 7 3
यार
points.
बाकी टीम्स ने एडजस्ट करना शुरू कर दिया I'm surprised that I was thinking Chinese teams will dominate in the beginning जब तक rest of the people will catch up with this particular pair system but it is what it
I think it's
is
going to be down to the last game between what 5-16.
अभी Wolves ने इनको दिया ना SMG वालों को $20 million की डील हुई थी ना एक्विजिशन
Chinese dominated this game when it comes to Sanhok. Wolves Esports
हाँ like Wolves is basically a football team owned by Chinese company so they bought this particular esports organization जिसका नाम SMG था तो alter ego और SMG दोनों जो थे वो basically I think invitational थी दो teams pre-qualified अपने region से so they acquired this particular team for I think 2015 or $20 million.
For Angry Man now with second place
अबे 6 नंबर पे
and Inco Gaming does go down.
4 AM second spot पे आ गई.
Furiously close. Look at this, 142 points going down to 6th place is 123 only. That's not even a win essentially. That's just a good game. And looking over at the second part of the game, we will see just that as well. Still plenty of teams that have got the choice to maybe come out swinging, just like we just saw in that last game from some of the teams on the second half. Maybe not Vampire again. I mean, we were all kind of counting them not into the favorites anymore, at least in the possibilities. Maybe someone else from that second side.
I think up to 7th place, up to where Nova is, any of those teams can take first place.
Yeah, but even that, you're looking at teams on the second page, if they get themselves a pop-off game, they're in the race. Like, you're asking for predictions. How the hell are we supposed to predict 7? We're supposed to do analysis. How do you analyze this situation? I have no clue right now.
All right, let me give you a little bit of context of why I didn't pick anybody from the second place all the way to the top, right? It's because TGK, yeah, they did have a 16 elimination game. Yeah, I think it was the second place finish. I just don't see any of those teams having 2 pop-off performances.
But it could happen.
But I don't see it.
You're telling me there's a chance.
But I don't see it.
Fair enough. You know, I do respect that point because if your team is inconsistent, not able to close off games, you're not looking confident. But the fact that the hope is still alive, and we saw insane comebacks in every esports, even more specifically in PUBG Mobile esports. So the hope is still alive. The teams can still make it happen.
Let's look at some of the drop spot locations. I quickly want to touch on INF because I really thought they had a great chance of the great game in the last Sanhok match that we just saw as well. But they have been so inconsistent the last 8-9 matches almost.
We're going to have one of the Brazilian teams, unfortunately, be behind. And in this case,
ST,
it's going to be
ST military base, दूसरा drop spot, okay. It depends on flight path. लेकिन यहाँ पे पहले दूसरी टीम नहीं आती थी Shadow. I think यहाँ T2 के आती थी. T2 के कहाँ होता है? Ruins.
I think it would have been reasonable for me to sit here and with my bias towards Brazil, think that there was going to be 3 teams at the top continuing in the next 3 days, right? That's why I was waving the Brazil flag at the start of day 2 because I knew there was
still could.
Exactly. Well, I still could because I knew one of those teams was going to end up dropping off. and it definitely happened that way.
Talking about dropping off, Fireflux is in last place right now. And whenever I watch them in the early game, especially, I always feel like the rotations, sure, they're maybe a little bit late, but I feel like they do have opportunities. They're just not capitalizing on them.
I think you just described it super well there, right there, Alex. They have such good opportunities to get in good positions.
They're just unfortunately a little bit too slow. I run a couple of businesses.
And they lose players like
So can Nova come back like group stages? I hope they don't. ST can come back like group stages. अगर भाई chicken और trophy हाथ में, yes bro, yes bro.
Let's look at some of the teams to watch. And Maxman
See.
starting off with you, Nova, 4am, and Starwood. Can't explain.
Starwood's been having a little bit of a redemption, right? Their second, third place of yesterday, they gave themselves some good points. Third place here. Like, that is not that big chicken dinner that I still want to see from a god like Starwood game. But it's enough to still remain in the race, to slowly but surely climb back up. They were in 6th position right now, I do believe.
Yeah.
That is close enough to still become the world champions right now. That is how close it is for them in this event.
Oh man, I have DRS because
Just, well,
yeah. Sorry, Max. I'm just thinking about DRS. They were able to show me some stuff in Miramar. We still have one Miramar left, and then we're going into Erangel. We have seen what they're able to do in Erangel. We do have 2 games left. This team set themselves up perfectly for this chance to go for that push to first place. We've seen S2G have some great performances, but they are just not able to be consistent, right? Yeah. They're not able to be consistent to the likes that DRS has been able to be consistent and maintain themselves there towards the top. God like Stalwart, I 100% agree with what you were saying there. And I mean, with Nova, I was saying it earlier, if there was ever a chance for them to try to go back for that three-peat, it's going to be now. We did see some flashes here and there. Yeah. We saw what Paraboy was able to do. And we saw Order wake up a little bit. He has had not the best tournament. We saw him get at least 3 eliminations in the last match at Sandhog. This could be a chance.
I think it's fair to say if we see Order wake up and play at the level at which Paraboy's been playing, especially Frozen, like a bit surprised, didn't really know what to expect from Frozen. He's really stepped up in these past 2 days. If we see Order on the level we saw him last year, where he took the MVP award for that season, I'm telling you, they're going to be unstoppable. But we need to see Order up there for these 3 matches.
Yeah.
I also really want to, now that I quickly want to touch on that topic in terms of who we want to see in that first page as well, Alter Ego. I was surprised you picked them, I think, almost all of the times today, but not now. And I really feel like if they do want to make it in, if they want to keep that momentum, they need to perform now. They need to make this Erangel game count.
I think the reason why we keep having them as their team to watch is just on your screen right now. All the fans. Well, you got the Geek fans also. Every once in a while, you'll have like some Geek like cries in the background, but I think it's a little bit drowned by the Alter Ego war cry. Do we have every game pretty much at this point?
They have made us biased. That's what it comes down to.
It's your fault,
To be fair, though, the audience has been absolutely amazing. Even when it's not their team, even when the team goes down, they're still clapping for them, they're still supporting
The reason is
even when some other
because
fights are happening
if
too, like
there is global
they are
matchmaking, तो वो game
maintaining
BGMI नहीं
that hype. I
रहेगी.
absolutely love the crowd.
You know what I mean? तो फिर से PUBG और BGMI बनाने का मतलब क्या
You
होगा?
know what I mean, right?
तो ये 2 गेम है, इसलिए एक ही गेम के 2 अलग नाम हैं. Why? Because वो data servers की वजह से. So it will still be as BGMI, but I don't think global matchmaking is possible.
True strength from the audience being here, able to support them. And Vampire, no? Seems like smiles on their faces.
I was gonna say, if this audience is like this, I can't wait to see what their
हिंदी
queue
में
is
लिखा
gonna be like
महाराज सर.
in December.
सर जी
Okay, that's
आपको
gonna be
गॉडलाइक
absolute madness
में
as well.
I really hope.
कौन सा बंदा
really
बढ़िया
hope we're gonna
लगता
see just as
है?
strong of a performance in terms of TK
मेरे को नहीं हो.
as we're seeing now in terms of STG.
सबसे
I really
मस्त
wanna touch
बंदा.
on them because they're still
अगर
very
मैं
much
अपनी
in the
19
race.
points yes bro,
And
Steve
they've just had
unpredictable कहाँ से कहाँ आ गए हैं,
in terms
yes
of rough
bro,
game, rough game. Let's just say they've just had a
yes
rough game.
bro,
But to the next one, I mean, Sanok's always a little bit
top
unpredictable.
yes we have
What
to,
are you
we
watching
have
from
to.
It's weird because we talk about
एक chicken
like
जी,
this consistent team, right?
yes sir.
Especially in day 2, day 1, it was a
DRS
little bit
मस्त खेल रही है यार,
but
बहुत
now
मस्त खेल रही है भाई,
situation
बहुत
where
मस्त
they had
खेल
themselves
रही
that
है.
good Miramar match. Sure, we're not able to actually convert it in a win. But it was like, so far it's down, up, down once again. So I want to
bro.
see just some more consistent point coming in for them.
Consistency is the key.
I don't think, I watched the VOD yesterday. I don't think you guys can actually hear the audience because our headphones are so good.
Yes.
The noise cancellation is top tier. But I can tell you, we can hear it through the headphones. And
We
it's
feel-
a true ambiance.
We feel the floor vibrate. That's how amazing it is in
I
here.
want to throw my headset in there just for you guys to actually listen to it. You know, get right there into the audience. But talking about SCG, yes, I mean, it's so weird to see, you know, SCG performing that well with Fireflux being at the very bottom, because I wouldn't have expected that going into the grand finals. The skill discrepancy and also the experience isn't that much. There isn't that much difference between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's some disappointments for some of the team, right? But that's unfortunately how it goes when you have the top best teams in the world participating in one single event like this. I mean, you're going to have some teams at the bottom. It's the nature of esports. It's how things are going to be going down for some of these teams. And no, unfortunately, for the side of Fireflux, that's how things are going right now. Meta late game. I mean, that's it. Hashtag Nova Meta late game. Day 3 is the late game, technically. So
Wait, if we're going to be talking about Fireflux, I mean, something that we got to keep in mind, and we just saw it perfectly, especially out of Vampire Esports, is those teams at the bottom that are going to be playing that spoiler role, right? For the teams at the top. For the teams that are going to be working to try to get those points, that man's just taking a nap. He's waiting. He's waiting patiently. And he's also thinking about, okay, which team from the bottom, Vampire Esports, Fireflux, maybe influence Kamen, they're going to decide to wake up at least one game, take some points that are much needed from the teams at the top, and it's going to make it even tighter.
I feel bad. We have these our teams to watch every single time. We need like 15 teams to watch. we need more slots to be able to show the teams you want to see perform.
It's literally every single team.
Exactly.
It almost is. Talking about teams and U7, A7 has been really, really good, and I'm especially excited going into the next game because, well, they are very close to making to the very top as well. Just 15 points difference between champ and the first place. Let's head over to the casters because we are going into the next match of the Pmgc Grand Finals. One of the very last ones, unfortunately. John Allen and Black.
Another match, another Erangel on the cards. Blank.
Please.
Can't believe his eyes.
Okay.
I can't believe it. No, it feels weird. This is our second to last Erangel coming through. After this, we will have a Minima.
Well, जब मैं will you give away anything if ST wins? Surya Chandra Teja, I promise you I will. I will definitely give away.
Tearing up, but I don't really want to leave. It has been so fantastic here. Luckily, I don't have to leave. Happy days, happy days.
भाई only top perform कर रहा है यार, नहीं सब perform कर रहे हैं. Top अकेले होता तो आज तक कोई चीज कहीं नहीं पहुंची होती.
Game was extremely important for a couple of teams, particularly DRS, able to get a little bit far into that one, but at least they did get some elimination points, especially versus Inco. But for 4 AM, very important how far they got. I mean, with a very odd rotation, they were right on the eastern side of the map, went to docks, rotated round through the water. It worked out quite well for them. I think it was a 4th place in the end that they were able to achieve. They were able to pick up, which is very good stuff. But that means that they are still in the running now. S2G have performed their little hearts out. I'll give them that. I think they've done really well at this event. I think that they've played a very dominant game. It feels like they're in some very good priority positions. They fight for these priority positions. They take them comfortably. And I think that S2G can definitely take it all the way at this rate. And for Turkey, this would be a monumental achievement for them should they pick up the grand title of PMGC. However, all that remains to be seen as we head into match 4 of Erangel.
Plane path. Very heavy south lean here from Novo to the middle of the west coast, just a little bit north of Quarry. So a deep cut there, difficult to get to places like Severny is going to be very, very inaccessible. So T2K might go for a backup drop. Last time we saw a plane path, actually fairly similar to this. We had a northern circle on the back of it, and nobody went to C block. So we're going to be interested to see if a
flight path भी अच्छे favor में हमारे. I think.
Again, I don't think you'll see anyone going to C block on Sosnovka. I genuinely don't see it happening. I think most teams are prioritizing getting these central spots on the circle, and that means being up towards that northern side.
There you go.
I think a change like that would mean that you are in contention with Stalwart crossing these bridges. Those kind of late challenges a bit more difficult. I think everyone just realizes, look, we're just going to allow Stalwart to have it. There's no point us clashing with Stalwart at this point in the game.
Check.
Especially with Stalwart playing much better today as well. That's one of the things that you have to watch out for, is which team's on top, which team's looking a little hot today. And I think Stalwart's certainly one of them. In terms of a team fighting prowess, one of the top out there, that is for sure. Looking at a lot of the other teams dropping out, Vampire coming off the back of a big win there over on Sandhawk. I think that is our elimination lead for the entirety of PMGC 2022 with 18 eliminations total. Primos dropped for them. 4am able to get out towards North George, especially with this little bump up at the end of the plane path up towards the western coast. This does give time for 4am to head up there.
Influence came in close to Kangzo with Koyovsky. Federal's there as well, but he's too slick with it. Might be able to get in the vehicle. He's just wasting time until there can be some backup from the rest of the squad. You can see there is a micro Uzi on a bike. Wow, Koyovsky actually in a little bit of danger. Might be going the wrong way if he heads towards Sky Only. There's more bullets to worry about, I'm sure. Keeping them separated and actually regrouped up, so does not get pushed into danger, into the line of fire. Unlike Vitali, and Inco lose a player early. Really, really good news for all those teams around. They might lose a second as well, as Nene Bete jumps into the vehicle and hightails it out of there.
Once again, this issue is coming through for Inco with
आवाज बढ़ाओ ना गेम का भाई कोई बोलता है कम करो कोई कहता है बढ़ा लो
and fair play.
क्या कर रहा होगे
Inco
ये
really
बताओ
struggles right off the bat. Because they don't have that set drop spot, like I was saying before, when everyone has a fair place to land, you aren't seeing people dropping in random locations. When this happens, Inco doesn't have those little areas that are free, they can start to trash loot in, then move to the center quite quickly. They have to drop in areas where other teams are. I don't think they are the best at early game team fights whatsoever. So for Inco, this is really bad news having these two Southern Plane Paths matches in a row. Right now, 137 points in third place, tied up with DRS. One player. It might even be Inco stepping even further down the leaderboard at the moment.
You cannot let these opportunities pass. But Inco's record is undeniable here. Over an 80% top 5 rating. I mean, 4 Angry Men over 70 is incredible. But to be that consistent from Inco is something else indeed. IHC, though, clashing with T2K. Shotguns and pistols at dawn of the game leave both teams a little bit hampered and harried. IHC, though, managed to keep everybody alive, and that is a big bonus against Rig and Jane, who did go down for T2K.
4M also close by in this area, John. They do have weapons. They do have things to play around with. A UMP, a micro Uzi 2. Demo down the way, and it looks like 4am is just going to pick up the vehicles and head back out. Try and meet back up again with Svan over towards North George, waiting for this engagement to conclude. Now IHC moves further down towards South George. The rotate 4am becomes a little bit more easy. Central position, central spot.
You have seen my story today,
Central spot is great.
Sir, I saw
Alter Ego also towards the center of the map too, so Rozo is looking good for them. Inco on the other hand, had to move towards Yaz at the moment, which is a little bit more awkward, John.
A little bit further north on the 3-player rotation. DRS on the southeast side, just leaving Milton now. DRS tied right now with Inco, 147 apiece. Alpha 7, 128. Godlike Stalwart, 123. It's a top 6 race at this stage for me. Blank, we have 2 matches remaining. There is always the outside possibility of a Nova standout performance, and Wolves, who have put themselves in the conversation, and we have to mention Alter Ego, of course, just a little bit behind them, but that possibility is shrinking fast. You need to start to rack up eliminations now if you want those things to come through.
Exactly. Alter Ego on 1 on 10 and 2. Very good scoring for them so far. And I mean, look, up towards 7th place, they're only 5 points behind. It really is 6 to first place at the moment, which is a bit more difficult to get into. I think top 8 is a really good result, whatever team you are. Top 8 in PMGC means you're in the top 10 of the world. You're not 10th place in the world, which is kind of not what you want to say, but you're in that top 10 of the world. So getting in the top 8 is a really good goal for a lot of these teams. Vampire, unfortunately, after that last game, even though they want to be in that top 8, that huge chicken dinner, it's only dragged them out of 16th place by 3 points.
I am very sure, sir. I'm very sure.
Competition take control of the north side of Potato Hill.
Bro, BGMI
the west is threatened by Wolves.
I think something I told you last week when I बताया था 2 हफ्ते के अंदर कुछ news जरूर आएगी, announcement आएगी. March तक
staying grouped up for now. Not taking too many risks. It's slap bang in the center of the circle, and there is room for 2 teams on the top of Potato Hill.
मैं काम करता हूँ यहाँ पे fast forward करता हूँ लेकिन उर्दू वाली नहीं चलाता हूँ because
maybe that will spook DRS into going for an engagement over the top.
So
Inco
बहुत
take
slow
themselves out of the picture.
commentary कर
We're
रहे
going to head all the way towards that northern
हैं
side of the map.
तो फिर
I don't think we're going to see too much out of this team towards that end game.
I
I think
was
that's going to be a killer for them because they are not
born
playing
in,
like
Kashmir.
they are a champion team, right? That is the issue for Inco, is that they play to survive, they play to get big points, but when you
Bro, halwa thodi hai.
get towards
Can you
those
see
last
Indian
3
teams?
games, you have to
No,
play
you should be
like
ashamed.
that championship
Say
depends
that,
on it.
can we see Indian teams?
I think
like
for Inco, they are
100%?
relying
I
on
mean,
other
like,
teams doing
I
badly
hope
as
I'm
opposed to
sure we
themselves
can. It's not
taking
that
it
we
home for
can't,
themselves.
but अभी जो BGMI PUBG बसर
And
चल
then you
रही है,
compare that to
is
teams like
at
S2G
least a
to
bit
DRS, I
difficult.
think. One of the
SK
very
को तीनों
proactive
मैच में
teams in this
consistent
lobby.
खेलना है with 1 chicken. Yes sir.
And you've got to wonder if they've got the
आप
legs
स्टेडियम नहीं गए
to
नहीं
make this
भाई
one work.
मुझे यहाँ पे काम पड़ गया था मैंने अपनी टिकट्स कैंसिल
Inco,
कराई so
a
this
surprise
is
from the
not
Brazilian region to be
everything
such a
that I
hot
have as
contender
well.
in
I
this
have
one.
other
Alpha
things to
7,
take care of.
maybe a little bit less of a surprise, but still very far up there. And
that's
Brazil will be proud no matter what the result at the end of these 2 matches.
Take me to Dubai. इसलिए
Absolutely.
स्वप्निल रंधावे भाई
Good
अभी
result no
बताओ
matter what
किसलिए
happens. Wolves
दुबई आके
just
क्या
setting off
करोगे?
these warning shots, letting everyone know that this territory is already claimed.
Winnie.
Good thing to
Hello,
do this early in the
Tokyo
game
भाई,
as
hello,
well,
Winnie.
especially towards
Winnie,
Potato Hill,
कहाँ
which is
गया
such
था
a
मेरे भाई? कहाँ गया
massive
था?
landmark when it comes to
Frozen two
rotations.
basic chicken.
I think
Yes,
you
yes,
certainly
yes,
need to be
inshallah,
on the ball with it, or at
inshallah,
least letting other teams know
Guys,
that
come on,
this is
SPE.
taken.
भर दो
DRS
chat.
towards that eastern side certainly
Game
is going
sound
to try
थोड़ा
and
low
move
कर
towards that
सकते हो
west.
sir, your voice is not
This is the
clear
first time in a
because
while
of
we've
it.
seen DRS
दो
get so
अभी एक
close
बंदा है
towards the
उसने
center of
बोला
the circle so
नीचे
early,
करो
and I think
अब
that's
आप बोल रहे हो
purely based off the
अब
fact
नहीं
that they
ऊपर
haven't
करो
had to
आप
play
बोलते हो
edge
नीचे
here.
करो
They were
चलो
already in
फिर
a
से नीचे
location
करते
to play towards that
चलिए हम
center, and I respect that from
आप जो बोलोगे
DRS.
सर वैसा ही होगा ये
If
लोग
they
करेंगे
can play center and they're in the position to do it, go for it.
chicken dinner coming chicken.
T2K on the north side, south of Inco, as the circle pops on the south coast. I say south coast, sorry, south side of the river. On towards Pmgc. Slap bang in the middle of this next zone.
These are
Nova
just
maybe
your
looking
mouse
to
clicks,
move
sir.
into very powerful positions on the north side of Pmgc. If they want to get some big games here, this is where Nova can maybe make it work for themselves in a central position, playing on that church on the northwest side. They're very split right now, though. And a long line out from Jimmy and Order leaves themselves potentially vulnerable to teams moving through.
Potentially vulnerable to some
threats
threats
chicken नहीं
coming in from that northern side, especially S2G.
मिला
Influence Kevin also coming through from the school side. I think Nova would love to get down towards where Wolves are currently playing as a strong position of Pmgc to be in. Vampire Esports also down towards that southwest side, towards those hills. 4AM has to make the cross over the island bridge. S2G is waiting.
इससे भी better आएगी आगे
Direct
जाके. We're working with
competitors
some
for that first
things
place
here.
spot would be 4AM. They've spotted now actually S2G waiting on the other side. They instead intend to just bucket out of there and head up towards ruins.
Will cross and potentially come into conflict with IHC. S2G are taking shots from across the way. I think that's influenced Kevin actually coming on through into the engagement, but Kelsey is humbling them somewhat. S2G don't even take a knock in response. That is powerful stuff coming through. A tonic for the nerves for S2G to keep them nice and safe.
4AM, take a couple of shots coming from IHC. It's from Ever's side. Slightly worried about that. However, IHC still have to move. 4AM do make their way past them easily enough. Influence came in, passed their way over Rozok, get themselves nice and deep in towards this circle. A lot of teams already here. In fact, most teams already in this circle. One of the most central circles we've seen in PUBG Mobile in a long time, actually, John.
It hasn't been super common to see the circles finish in Pmgc, so
yeah,
could potentially be a nice little change back to something that we've seen a lot from before.
Yeah,
seen, I think about 3-4 northern circles on the trot.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of northern circles so far. And Brinko, who intended to kind of take themselves out of the picture with T2K, once again, run down by AHC. I mean, talk about taking out the picture. That's T2K getting absolutely painted over there.
Yes.
Just legend now on the northern shore to cross in for T2K. Out in the blue zone as well, so severely diminished, and T2K's run might be finished now. With this game in hand, they might have had a chance. They were on 101 point, I think. at the start of the game, but we are going to see teams start to fully drop out now. Anyone below 100 points at this stage will not be making it to the champion spot.
Yeah, it's going to be a real tough road ahead if you want to make it towards that champion spot, and if you're behind by this much. I think 7th place downwards is still difficult. That requires you to have a chicken dinner on top of a chicken dinner, and then a very good game to finish out with.
मेरे तो आया क्या stream पे वापस?
33 Svan though. Ooh, that is real bad news. That's S2G, and an absolute winner of a decision for them. However, Inco, Pmgc, right over the side. A nade as well could spell doom for Inco.
Well placed, and they're done for. Cooks it, but it's a little bit long. Nenebete low has backup from Razy, who moves up the line. Nicely found, and look, Nova are going to light them up from the back as well. Jimmy has a good angle into the vehicles. They try and flow around the edge, and Nenebete knows they need to get out of there. But Becca and he will fall. Squash left last standing for Inco, and they have it all come crumbling down around their ears. S2G picking up those points is almost a worst case scenario for them.
Absolutely, for Inco, this is all just falling apart at the seams. And we said that you need to play like your life's on the line now. And for Inco, I think they've taken that a little bit too far, because they are playing like this is the only life they're ever going to have. It's too safe. It's too cautious.
Alter Ego, though, being anything but cautious. You got to rip it towards the end. With 2 more matches to play, they want to put some numbers on the board. We've seen that they are capable of chicken dinners. They've already managed to accrue 2 over the 16 matches, well, the 15 that we finished, and the 16th match now on the cards. 3 eliminations this game, tying it up with IHC and S2G, both of whom also have 3.
4 AM.
Zone versus ST.
Players. Fireflux in 16th place down towards their south side. Squash finds himself a little bit of safety. And Alpha 7 fairly central. Nova split around them. Alpha 7 things aren't over yet. Still a good chance with 3 more matches to go now. Nothing is out of the picture for at least the top 5.
The headshot hills on the northern side making up a massive swathe of the circle, and S2G control it. Going to be very difficult for anyone to move into it as well. With 4 AM on that west side, you can't really swing through without taking a fight. And those 3 players that remain for them will be a strong barrier to move. However, the circle gives them some semblance of safety for the rest of the lobby. And moves down towards Pmgc yet again. Nova on a 2-2 split, looking to regroup now. Look at that, Jimmy sailing across.
It's a really good regroup. Great timing for it. Squash also happy about this one from Inco.
Jersey order की 23 दिसंबर के around कुछ update
4 AM may try and hold out against S2G, understanding they'll have to pass it along some quite open ground to get towards this circle. They could swing all the way towards that eastern side, but that's very clumped up. It's a difficult ending. It's Pmgc, a lot of fielded area, a lot of awkward buildings to play. Influence Kevin finding that out firsthand. All these windows.
And all this trouble. Spelling doom for Influence Kevin. 1 player now remaining. Federal does manage to get the first knock. And a flush potentially coming through as well. Looking for a res. Slows down any aggression. Pick feet. 4 Wolves will be able to get the first aid off. Nade cooking now. Underarm switches back to over. And a nade into the side room would be the end of plenty a player on Influence Kemin, but instead just gets the double flush, and there's the last as well, as it does get picked away. A 3rd party from GeekFam.
A real shocking performance from Influence Kemin. Not in the sense of it being bad, but in the sense of it's so surprising for me to see them in 13th place. I thought that this would be the Brazilian team that we'll see taking us all the way towards that top 3 position. Unfortunately, they've just not found their footing here in the Pmgc 2022 Grand Finals. Unfortunate ending for them as well. I think at 96 points, 1 elimination, only 2 matches to go. all but over now to try and get towards that top 5 at least. Maybe some redemption in a top 8 potential.
4 Angry Men with some rooftops to play around and S2G to slow. So important for them to do so, as much damage as they can. Preferably take them out entirely. Fnatic takes a little bit too much damage and takes the knee for it. Rules crashes into the side of the entrance there, and there's a knock going their way, and he swivels around and somehow plays it around the edge of the smoke and completely destroys Alter Ego. 15 plus.
Kind of hope that Alter Ego had left a grenade behind there. Thought he was cooking one. 4AM though, taking massive damage. Squashed alone of all people. A good nade over the top, but now 4AM down to just 2 players at the hands of Squash, helping out S2G in a way. And they're going to rock up on this one, taking no chances. This is the perfect opportunity for them to take out the majority of their competition.
This is absolutely huge. A double roll-up coming through from the S2G. We've seen them do this before, and it has gone pear-shaped several times. But they're on the chase now. The last player from 4 Angry Men is taken down, and their closest rival eliminated. DRS now. A big threat for them. 1 player of theirs has fallen already. 3 players active. 4 DRS. 4 on Godlike Stalwart.
All 4M can hope for now is for S2G to go out early, but the way they're playing, the finesse of it, the way that they're just flowing through these hillsides, taking fights and making sure no one can step to them, it doesn't seem likely. S2G are feeling more and more like a champion as the matches go on.
The west edge of the next circle guarded by Nova. S2G have been taking some pretty tricky fights, to be fair, with teams that are main competitors for them. Nova might be their next challenge, but will it prove to be too much?
Taking players outside the blue to pick up vehicles left behind.
Nova Fireflux
Trying to use as many vehicles as possible because they know the run ahead of them is going to be disgustingly hard to hit. So having as many vehicles to ensure as many lives are saved, because I think that they know there are going to be casualties going into the circle. It would be amazing if 100% of the squad made it through, but is it likely? Not really, no.
Nova moved away from the hilltop that they were occupying for a long time. The church position overlooking Pmgc is currently available. S2G might be the ones to try and take control of it. Vampire a little bit too far south and not wanting to step too far in. S2G are worried there's a team in there already, and why wouldn't you be? It's a seemingly valuable position that should have an occupant.
Yeah, Nova playing for late game there. Because they were playing a split, and they are so strong at holding on to positions, they've essentially held on to 2 spots that 2 teams realistically should have had. You're right, for S2G, this is almost certainly position that has been taken up in church. So they all just lie down underneath it, expecting to be shot at any second. Fireflux, send in.
Vampire trying to slow them down from the south side, and Buriram will be the doorstop for them. Lutz low, but back to the building. Solus has his teammate swept away from him. Ketch falls as well to shots across the way. Vampire are still chiming into it. Only 1 player now standing. Solus on the ground floor. They think he might be upstairs, but he's a little bit lower than that. They'll hear the footsteps now, though, and they'll know he's still in here. Kengzo watching the outside, and Solus holding the door frame,
for
someone to make a mistake here on Buriram.
We'll hold on. Buriram comes down the stairs, but it's
Fireflux
Tiger there moving through, and Fireflux continue to have not the greatest of tournaments here in the Pmgc. 16th place. Vampire overtaking them, must have stung. But again, just looking at this leaderboard, 87 points
they have to clear that side.
to 8th place.
अभी देख नोवा वाले फाइट नहीं
Only
लेंगे
19
देख नोवा भी किसी
points away.
साइड से
It is
aggression
1
नहीं
game. So everyone's really done very well during this Pmgc. Everyone's put up points. There's not a single team that I think has been dead in the water over here in the Pmgc.
S2G found out that the church was free and will be the ones taking it, but you're right, the
यही
points totals
ये
are
नहीं
so
छोड़ना है
tight.
agreed.
Overall, we are far below a 10-point average at this stage on these games. At the top of the tables, which you would expect
यही
2
वो
or 3
chicken है
or 4
भाई.
teams to be
भाई
able
ने
to
कहाँ
achieve
से
over the
पोजीशन
course of
खा
the
ली
tournament.
भाई? Beautiful है.
And we are
Very good.
over a 5-point
ये गया
average
DRS
at the bottom,
वाला.
which is really quite
नहीं बच
remarkable.
गया.
Which is
अबे,
something you don't
अबे,
see
अबे,
all too
अबे,
often.
अबे.
Nade from rules out to maybe slow down Alpha 7's approach. DRS, remember, the main threat right now for S2G on the top.
इनका कितना 3 प्लेयर है ना इनके.
DRS.
बाकी प्लेयर कहाँ हैं इसके?
Looking for something more. Again, like you said, main competitor.
गया.
But a great nade to start things off. Rules is already down on A7. They don't take a single moment, or at least don't waste a single moment. They'll move straight through. 5 eliminations found for them. Again, it's not done for Alpha 7 yet. Dangerous push from S2G, but they make it. No one takes too many shots over towards them. They waited enough time. There wasn't enough firepower, enough guns looking at them. So when they made that approach, they made it by the skin of their teeth, but it was still quite reliable.
Yeah.
6 eliminations for S2G and all 4 of them alive. 9th
भाई
place
ये
for
है
DRS
game.
and now
अब
Alpha
number
7 with
5,
5
number 6
eliminations.
के.
All 4 of them alive will take up the mantle
फिर Alpha
of the
7 और ST
closest
के यहाँ पे
chaser
sense
in this
बनता है.
game
ठीक है
to
S2G ऊपर.
S2G. Shots from top over towards Mafioso as he hides behind the wheels, trying to stay hidden. The Axel ricocheting the bullets away. Mythic hops on into the pickup there. And will be alive for the time being, but there's a nade from GeekFan and a second as well on the knock from the nade. It's beautiful. Micah wants to keep it on pouring, and Alpha 7 being torn apart here. Godlike Stalwart might be able to step up to the plate as the next closest competitor to S2G's top spot. The nades do not stop, and GeekFan rack up 5 elimination points already, with one more soon to follow. That's 6.
Refusing to allow anyone from Alpha 7 to survive this one. Just Carrillo remaining now, looking for those placement points in the smoke, but outside the blue will push him into open ground. It's unlikely that Carrillo stays alive for much longer, and Micah will put him to bed.
Damaroon actually the one to steal that one away. It looked like Micah had it all lined up, but this is such excellent news for Turkish fans. S2G with 4 teams directly beneath them, all wiped out. They have 4 players alive. They have 6 eliminations on this game so far. They are in a prime spot to take a huge game, so vitally important at this stage.
No matter where they drop out now, I'd say it's a good profit.
1K likes बोल रहे हैं. खाली मेरे 200 पूरे नहीं हो रहे.
Would not be bad for them. The 4M is going to be pretty rough profit on top of what they've earned this game anyway. And coming into Miramar's Game 5, I said this earlier today and yesterday, that for S2G, that's a map where they do excel. We saw it on the first Miramar day already, and having that in the back pocket for Game 5, this is a place where you can bump up even more points. And 4AM really was suffering on that last Miramar. They didn't get very far. They looked a little bit lost. For S2G, I'm really excited to see what they can do here. In our second to last angle, to pump up some big points here to secure their position at the top of the table.
तू देखना अभी सब बैठे हैं ना शांति से. एक्शन कुछ ना कुछ मारेगा फिर भी. ST पे जोन है ना. हाँ. तू देखते रहना. एक्शन जरूर कुछ ना कुछ ग्रेनेड मारेगा, कुछ ना कुछ मारेगा. चुप नहीं बैठेगा एक जगह.
We'll see what can be done. Vampire crunching in a little bit on that south side. They have got the 2 buildings there, and they're pushing in towards Kengzo.
Push
in hand for Schwepp and Fluke actually.
Vampire का पीका नहीं खींच ले. पीका.
Having some angles there to play with. Nova are clashing with S2G in the meantime, but Rizzi has some cover to play with. Backs off the high angle peak, but will be very resible for S2G as they play a little small 2-2 split. Nova not wanting to push too far out, but they'll have to regroup and push into the town if they want to keep it on going on that northern side.
S2G.
Vampire का एक वही knock है.
Forward. Zone 7 right now.
मेरे को ना पूरी PL वाली फीलिंग आ रही है इस गेम में. तूने PL देखा था ऐसा? भाई पूरी वही फीलिंग आ रही है. सबसे एंटरटेनिंग जोन है. पैसा वसूल पाएगा.
Wonder at this point how many does Nova still have remaining?
The only Malaysian team here, GeekFam, have got 9 eliminations now, and it's a team that has fragged out before. See if they can do anything with the 4 players they have on the north side, but Micah does go down.
convert कर भाई, convert
Potential
कर.
trouble there. Vampire,
Action का Vampire
and
दोनों
Godlike
तरफ
Store
से.
have been so troublesome on this south flank of Pmgc. An urban finish, we haven't seen it so far.
S2G पे push Nova का.
A big test for S2G. Frozen will fall.
ये fight
Burn
देख
from
मेरा,
Hamzy
मैं पैरा
is
कोई
good.
क्या
It
हाल है.
isolates the room and looks to put pressure on Jimmy and Order, one of whom
तू देख
has
रहा
to
है?
leave.
अबे
Jimmy will be
UMP
the one to
Uzi
do
लेके.
so. Hops out, and Paraboy on the corner being isolated. There's another player in the kitchen though, and Hamzy could be caught broadside, but he has backup to deal with the threat. Order falls, and now it's just Paraboy in the back. Not too
इसने
much
कहाँ से
HP,
Scry ने
but
कहाँ से
S2G
निकाल दिया
plus
ना?
2 players in the midst of the fray. Silas wants the flushes. They want to confirm these points with 8 eliminations. They'll take what they can get. 6 teams remain, and Paraboy backed off with the burn. S2G, 3 alive, 8 eliminations, ranked up to 10. They are on double digits already, and with 5 teams remaining, they have guaranteed a bumper game to see themselves safer towards the top.
This is going to be so hard to chase in the next 2 games, regardless of what happens going forward. For S2G, 3 players still going outside the circle now, though. If they can conclude this game in a top 3, the teams underneath them are going to be quaking in their boots because that trophy is going to look so far away. Might need to go to Specsavers just to even have a hope at seeing it.
Godlike Stalwart still have been looking to control so much of the ground. Spooks him a little. Unfortunately, doesn't manage to get the better end of the deal. Top will get the flush as well. Kengzo upstairs.
S2G का भाई तू देख रहे हैं S2G क्या मार रहा है?
Monster in his own right. King Kengzo, we called him during the group stages for Buradam. See what he can get done here. Vampire nades over the top, laid into S2G. Silas out the window, escapes from punishment on that one, but that's a lot of damage sent in, and into the Molotov from Schwepp. Has to get burnt down across the slopes of their shore. Now it's just 2 players for S2G. 5th place finish, not ideal, but they will take it. 10 eliminations. And it's a big game to put a barrier between them and the teams beneath them. 10 eliminations for Geek Fam as well. But is it time for Godlike Stalwart to stand up?
Vampire Esports as well, off the back of that fantastic Sandhawk. Maybe looking for even more. They did say they wanted top 8 today. I told Sir Tani, get top 5.
He's taken that advice to heart.
He absolutely has here.
And imbued that confidence into his team. Maybe.
नहीं उस पे rush देंगे अभी. I think action will stay उस पे
here, man.
But we've seen how tight those points totals
Shabash,
are.
shabash, convert.
A miracle run for Vampire from the bottom of the tables after match 3.
For Stalwart, maybe even. It's a real chance. I think for Stalwart, this is a big game for them, considering they were one of the closest chasers towards the top of the lobby over the Alpha 7, and they've still got 4 players going. They can rack up some big points here, John. And this is last zone now. This will push everyone in. Pika having this high ground position as well as top is so unbelievably beneficial.
ये साला बीच में जो बुरुराम वाला है ना ये गंदी पीटी रे.
Pika and top will be able to play off one another to hit them.
ये पता नहीं
Really good.
उस पे geek आ गई.
Are so good though from geek.
ले गया बुरुराम.
Kengzo as
इस पे
well.
नीड आएगा देख.
Blockaded into the attic.
Can't afford to go upstairs though.
जा Vampire
I think he caught himself on fire. Didn't expect to finish that one out so quickly, but do so they will. 4 versus 4 versus 4. Urban finish in Pmgc. And the nades start to fly. Vampire with 4. Godlike Stalwart.
भाई ये क्या हो रहा है भाई?
Schwepp gets caught. U-High is good for 1. A high elimination game for Geek Fam so
अबे
far.
देख action किधर जा रहा है
Towards the Godlike Stalwart line. Schwepp repositioned towards to go for the res from Fluke, and they not really going to punish it here, but Mike has already taken a lot of damage. Ravenclaw, high ground, on the 2nd floor of the building, snipes around the corner, sneaks back on in. Godlike Stalwart can start to move through the back, because Geek Fam have been punished from the front, and action is going to start to tick away. Snipes the early one to fall on Geek Fam. Micah has the nade, but floods out the front, and right into the sightlines of Vampire. Godlike Stalwart getting cut down, and it's chaos. Another potentially on the cards now as Vampire move in. All 4 of them are alive and kicking, and it is a 2nd game on the cards. They just need the last, and it is Vampire. They have hit their stride. Is it
back to
too
back.
late?
I don't know if it's too late, man.
ये हमारा chicken था यार.
I mean, 2 chicken dinners back to back. If they continue on this We say that performance fluctuates. Once it's high, it is
क्या
so
ही match था
high. And it feels like
भाई.
we've hit midnight right now.
I think उधर पे ना
around
टीम को थोड़ा वेट करना
Pennsylvania,
था.
because
वो
they
तो
are
आपस में
going
पुश ले रहे थे.
strong. I am worried for all these other teams because there is a beast in the night and it is hungry.
Flashing red. The eyes of the vampire turn their gaze onto the lobby.
Yeah,
Strike fear into the hearts of many, I'm sure. PMWI champions, remember, this is a team that has power.
कितनी kills आई यहाँ पे? 3 kill और 10 point इसके 13 point ना?
With those 2 games, they have done so much in this lobby that is so tightly packed on the points tables.
Absolutely. I like that, you know, Schweppes is MVP. He got subbed
He's
out for
okay,
2
man.
stops yesterday and was like, I am good, by the way. You won't be subbing me out again. That's just how this is. I mean, this was a couple of very, very good games from Vampire. I mean, that was not an easy finish on either. Sandhawk was a little bit easier, but again, good positioning. Here on Pmgc, that was the most chaotic fight I've seen in a long, long time. I have to give good props to Geek Fam, though, John. They did a wonderful job during that game, and it was very hard. I felt like they were going to go down 10 seconds earlier. It was a marvel to see them live for that long in the first place.
They moved up to 90 points.
एक kill पे 719 damage.
Vampire. This time around, they're going to have put a massive
टॉप के 5 knock थे, एक convert ही नहीं हुआ.
16th place to first place.
This is crazy. Not in one day, blank in 3 games.
5 knock ही है,
They've
सिर्फ
done
टॉप
in
पे
2
5
so
knock.
far. They would need a third massive performance to try
Same
and cheer
group
themselves up
में भी
towards the top. And what a
But
way it
this
would
fight
be
was
to be
best
able to
of
find
Sood.
our PMGC champions. But
ये
we're going to
क्या
head
ही
back
fight
to the
थी.
analyst desk.
Just what is happening right now in the PMGC
हाँ?
finals? We have Vampire coming in from very last place and making and working and
Geek वाले भी अच्छा ऊपर आए.
somehow
Geek वाले किस
back
position
to
पे
back
आए?
chicken dinner, and they will find themselves in a very good spot after that game. Is that the secret? Is that the secret behind pulling it back? You know, Schweppes being alive, finally, not dying in the early game.
I hope being alive is pretty important.
I guess so. Maybe that is the difference maker.
But really, I mean, we counted them out at the start of the day. We're like, yeah, from what we saw from Vampire, and we were like, no, it's not really happening for them. Back to back chicken dinner, not just a small chicken dinner, like their big elimination chicken dinner, and that is looking.
Bro, I think I'm
so
same
good for
spot
them.
पे रहेंगे.
And as they said, John,
Alpha 7 की कितनी kills
could they
थी?
be doing the impossible and going from 16th to first place in the last day?
फिर
It's
5
hard,
पे
but it could happen.
और DRS
If
की
they do it, I'll be more
भी
than
2
happy.
kills
All
थी.
right.
ये 136 आएंगे हम ये लेके.
I just don't think it's
अबे
gonna
13
happen.
point क्या
Let's take a quick look at some of the highlights from that last game, because there are plenty. That was one hell of a game. Obviously, Pmgc being the main protagonist of match number 4 for today. And at that breach alone, I was cheering for Wolves because they finally pulled off to defend that breach.
Nova के साथ gap बढ़ गया.
I don't know.
तू समझ रहा है?
Pmgc the main protagonist. I'm going to call it antagonist right there. It was
Smart.
not fun for the team.
नहीं हम number 5th पे.
Geek Fam, they were in a hot seat.
Alpha
for a major
134.
portion of this game.
इनको और
set.
हमारे बीच में 1
Really what
point
they
का
were
गया
trying to
था.
do is create all the
137
teams
पे
coming
हैं.
from the eastern fields.
158 पे
That can start
फर्स्ट से हैं हम
around you, but
20 point की
unfortunately,
gap
the
है.
teams on east, teams
वही
in
है यार,
Pmgc
एक chicken की
itself
game.
will become the major threat later on down the line.
Yeah, definitely a big game for
Geek
Geek
भी
Fam.
पूरा
And I
पागल
am
हो
just
पड़ा है.
happy to see
Second number पे DRS.
there towards the top and towards the
अबे
end.
DRS
I
और
mean,
4
this
angry man
team
दोनों
has
140
been
पे.
completely different, night and day difference from what we saw in day 1 to what we started seeing at the end of day 2. I think if they continue on this trend, you are going to have to just wear that jersey.
That was really interesting, talking about goal like Solo especially. Let's take a quick look at match rankings. 25 points for Geek Fam.
#8
The
पे दे.
Vampire took home the chicken dinner with 23
They started
points.
the
Now we
day
have
at
Goal Like Solo
16.
in 4th place. Really interesting that comeback, because until round 11 they did not have a single top 3 placement. Can you believe that?
What I'm actually interested on is S2G. I feel like they took massive advantage of the situation there. With Inco Gaming, with all the teams that were kind of hunting them down to get that first place. I mean, the Turkish casters were going absolutely crazy. They were making me go crazy. 16-point game that is going to be able to create a gap, and it's going to be making it harder. And this is why I was saying that I don't expect Vampire Esports to pull the impossible because of how S2G is currently performing.
Incredible, especially since S2G took out both of their direct oppositions, which was 4AM and obviously in 2nd place.
Nova also later on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's take a quick look at some head-to-head statistics. And who do we have here? Silas.
Silas!
Ooh, who else than Silas?
Come on, we saw Razy, we saw Cassie do
Hey, damage dekh rahe hain?
Silas up there has been since a few games we've been missing out on Silas, but the thing is,
Neo damage dekh rahe hain?
the fight they took versus Nova, it just felt so damn
दो
easy,
eliminations पे
absolutely
1023 damage, 4 eliminations, 8 kills
Really,
कितनी
the
खा
strengths
रहे
of this
हैं
team night and day compared to their first day of play. And now a
एक
team
बार
that is
का
not only in first place, but slowly and
GC
surely building a
बहुत
little bit of a lead for themselves.
I feel like their aggressiveness has
I
definitely
don't
improved. We
get
can
it,
say
bro.
the exact same from a guy like Stalwart. I mean, we got a chance to see top right there as well. These teams are going to just make me not have any nails at the end of the day.
Absolutely incredible. Maybe talking about Nova for a second, because you were really worried for them after this game.
I still am. I said it during that game. Was that the match that puts Nova out of order? Not a pun intended, by the way.
Wow, okay.
I'm really not too sure, because sure, the potential, mathematically speaking, they could still make it up there. There's only 2 matches, and if the next match is a bad performance, they're done. That's it. The 3-peat will not be happening.
Whatever is wrong with Nova, it sure as hell isn't the hardware that we have right here, because they're all playing with it. And let's take this quick second when we thank our sponsors. First of all, obviously Sony, with the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV and Xperia Stream, which were co-developed in collaboration with professional esports players. You can play PUBG Mobile with Xperia Stream's total cooling system and multiple ports for intensive gaming and streaming. We also want to thank Prime Gaming while we're at it. We can have free in-game content with Prime Gaming, not only free in-game content, but also free games throughout all genres. Everything that you will enjoy in terms of categories of games, you will find there. And to top it off, you will find free PUBG Mobile items and content there as well. So make sure to check out Prime Gaming. And obviously, we want to get your attention on towards the Pmgc server. You may have noticed it in the chat already. If you haven't, you will see it in the chat and social media. Make sure to click on it, because if you do fill out the survey, you're not only giving us a chance to make this broadcast better, but you are actually giving yourself a chance to win some amazing prizes. So check out the Pmgc viewer survey. You will find it in the chat and obviously in social media as well. And last but not least, for the ones that haven't opened the app PUBG Mobile in the last 2 days, it is time to do so right now. The new update is out since start of this broadcast, since 6th of January, start of Pmgc Grand Finals. So make sure to awaken your fighting spirit. You know, get right in there and check out the new update, Warrior Trial. And with that, we're going into a quick break, and we will see each other right back. Actually, we're not going into a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We might have some more time to dive into what we just saw. Any teams you want to pick about in particular?
We keep saying it, there's too many teams. I don't know which one to really talk about right now. I still want to see DRS. DRS is still the team that's still lingering. They're still there. Got to be careful. Nepal can strike hard in these last 2 matches.
They definitely can. I mean, I feel like they had a great push. If I remember right, it was into Alter Ego, and they were able to get some good eliminations there. They still have a chance.
Well, that's from us. We will be seeing each other in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned as we are going into the last 2 matches of the Pmgc Grand Finals. See each other right back.
Flame Vampire number 8 from number 16 in 2 games. Yes, 137 ST. Yes, bro. Number 1 ST, 21 points ka lead hai. Yes, bhai. Just keep praying, bro. Keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. We make it. STG को ड्रॉप क्लैश में मारना पड़ेगा सर. नहीं भाई, STG को क्यों मारेंगे ड्रॉप क्लैश में? उसमें तो हमारा ज़्यादा रिस्क है, उनका काम है. अगर उनके साथ कोई ड्रॉप क्लैश करेगा तो वो 4AM करना चाहिए, नॉट अस. FMVP को टॉप लेके जाने वाला है, मार्क माई वर्ड्स. FMVP तो या होपफुली ब्रो. दिट्स अ गॉड लाइक. थैंक यू. Hug supporting ST. Thank you very much. Yes. नंबर 6 आ गई. Vampire Insane comeback. कितने मैचेस बचे हैं अभी? और I think 2 more matches to go, boys. उसको supporting नहीं बोलते. Bro, watcher, don't know negativity भाई. इसलिए तो mod बना है. तो watcher, Nova will drop clash with S2G. Shekhar, yes bro, thank you very much. Thank you. कितनी पॉइंट चाहिए भाई? अभी 21 पॉइंट का गैप हुआ है. We got flash incoming. Yes. Let them. Let them. Top action, low match में kills निकालो. Yes, bro. Yes, we need kills. We need placement points. They are being smart. They are not just being aggressive. They are just taking out their aggression in the right places right now. That's why
ladies and gentlemen, it could not be more exciting. It's
that's
one
how they,
hell
that's
of
how
a
they are
situation right now on the
performing
overall leaderboard. And going over to Yusuf.
अब
And the
Yusuf
start of
दिल
last
से
match,
दुब
that was
दुब
something
कर रहे हैं.
interesting
तुम्हें
with
फिर
SCG and Inco.
क्या
They
कैसे
took
दुब
them
दुब
out
कर
very
रहे हैं.
early.
Yeah, with Inco, they put themselves in some interesting situations that I keep asking myself, what are you guys doing? Because I mean, they keep losing players early on because they're pressuring for so long that by the time they actually lay down and land, there's people just waiting for them with guns.
Yeah, Neo,
This is why
तू है क्या इधर
the
पे?
reason why I'm wearing their jacket right now, okay? Because if there was ever a chance for this team to respond, for this team to wake up, it would be now. They're currently sitting 21 points behind first place.
What you do, man?
If they don't wake up now, they're not going to be able to do anything. And look at that, S2G, 159 points.
19-point lead right now for S2G. I mean, there's just, at this point on time, they're just trying to lengthen their lead against all of the teams below them. DRS, 400 men, got to be careful, man, because that lead is going to keep on building in these next two matches. But they're just looking good. They've been looking consistent throughout today. Even if they gave themselves a bad game, then they followed up with an absolute banger of a performance. I don't know, can anyone take down S2G right now? It's going to be a tough task at hand.
And the crazy jump up to Vampire Esports now in 8th place,
Oh, they're there.
113 points. That's crazy. Wolf Esports here with 113 and Nova.
No.
This is the, I feel like this is maybe one of the biggest upsets this year. Definitely the biggest upset.
Last two matches.
I really can't imagine Nova just staying in that 10th position. It just absolutely feels weird. Looking at the next two matches that we have coming up, it is once again Miramar and Arango. Any teams from Miramar already. So
Hey bro,
really
King on Penny is on Big Boss.
Are you just going to say Vampire's going to get another chick?
Valentine's Day पे आना चाहिए game
I
एक
think we're kind
Valentine's
of
को हम
stretching
लोग
it
भी
right now.
deliver
But
करते
I
हैं.
think that's always right, Seven.
अरे
Nova
लगता
are
है
the
लगता है
duo
मतलब
Miramar. This is going to be the
lifelong loner रह चुके हैं.
bring it back for
DRS
themselves.
hashtag
I want to see
bro.
them
I
win
know.
themselves a game here.
I know.
I want to see the chicken dinner.
South Asia.
Let's take a look at the teams
South
to watch.
Asia
that
is
you guys
proving its
picked.
metal.
And obviously 3 each once again. I'm kind of curious to see if there is a Nova in there. It's only for you, Max.
Hey,
No
go
Nova
back
for
to
you,
back
Sam. Have you
chicken
given
is-
up the hope? Have you lost it?
I mean, I talked about them enough earlier on. I feel like I wanted to give some light to some of the other teams, like DRS. They were able to showcase some good performances earlier in Miramar. I want to see them mimic that again with S2G. If they can stay alive, if they can just get a top 5 situation and get some, even 5 eliminations, even 3 eliminations, I think they're going to be able to maintain a nice
Thank you,
lead.
Arslan bhai.
But also, you got to keep in mind that SGG, if they get a chicken dinner, like a big one that we saw earlier,
RKS.
it's done.
Oh,
SGG,
मेरे
they
पिछड़े
will
भाई
be the
किधर
world
है?
champions. Okay, so SGG, one chicken dinner, and it might just be done and dusted.
Imagine the
Yes,
situation
if we
where
win,
we have
definitely I
a
will give
defending
away
country,
in this
Turkey,
stream.
Grand Finals 2023.
Wait and watch.
That would be amazing.
That would be the best
भाई
storyline
ऐसा
ever. I
करो
want to see
फेस
now.
कैम हटा ही दो
It really would. And with that being said, we are going over
ठीक
to
है
the
भाई।
commentary desk, John Ellen and Blank, with the second to last game of the Pmgc Grand Finals. Hype it up, boys.
Match 17 on the cards here in Miramar. We draw ever
20
closer to the
points.
inexorable end
Second dinner and
of
S2G
2022's chapter in
early
PUBG
elimination,
Mobile
yes.
history. With 2 more games
इसके
left
बाद
to
पता है
play,
लास्ट
this is
आई
the
थिंक इसके
last
बाद
we'll
वाले
see
मैच
of
में बहुत सारे लास्ट ड्रॉप क्लैशेस होंगे
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing?
Alex said to hype it up.
Oh,
Yeah, so I had to hit him with one. I did debate whether it was a good idea or not, but I was like, I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound at this point in time.
स्पोर्ट्स टीम असलम भाई
Oh, I'm so sorry, bro. But yeah, we're heading into Miramar, and we've talked about this before.
इस गेम में नहीं आई
Already
थिंक
set
इसके
it up.
बाद
This
गाइस
is
इसके बाद
where
होंगे ड्रॉप
S2G could pick up a chicken dinner, a bunch of points, a position
इसके बाद
which
bottom
will
वाली
set
teams करेंगे
themselves
drop.
pretty much untouchable towards the top of the standings. But is this the Vampire comeback? Is this the Vampire top 5? Is this the Vampire top 3? Can they keep up this kind of pace? Because it's a difficult pace to keep up. If anyone can do it, it is Vampire, the streakiest team in all of PUBG Mobile.
Puerto Paraíso to Torre Amada in the north side for our final Miramar. I would love to see Vampire be able to pull that out of the hat. I mean, they've won 2 back-to-back now. They started the day, and in fact, they started match 13 out of 18 with a match 13? No, it would be match 15 out of 18 with a 16th place record, 57 points they were able to have. In 2 games, they have over, no, they haven't, they've almost doubled it. 1 point shy of that mark. And if they're on form, then there's nothing to stand in their way. But there is a long, long way between them and that top spot if they want to be able to take it. And they have to fight S2G for it, and I'll tell you what, there is no way that that is easy by today.
It really is, and I think S2G feel like they're so close to the prize at the moment. They almost have their hands ripped around the trophy. They do not want to let go. And they are holding on for that chance to defend the trophy on their home turf next year over in Turkey. This will be an incredible story to finish off PMGC 2022 and look forward towards the future, but already T2K set sights towards Vampire.
Maybe looking to spoil it here and now. Stone doesn't even have a weapon, and he's on the hunt. Unfortunately, a stake through the heart of the hopes through Stone to
ये वैम्पायर वाला उधर क्या
have
करने
the
है
full player power here, but with 3, Vampire will try and carry out further mischief in this lobby.
Nepal also challenging out for that #1 spot at the moment. DRS, 140 points, tied with 4am. Inco, they fell off. It's an unfortunate truth, to say the least, for them. Right now, just do not have that confidence to ascend for that center. So many other teams have set their sights upon those best compounds, and Inco is struggling to find an entrance at this point in time. The meta of the lobby shifting slightly over the days. But DRS, I think for Nepal, it would be one hell of a victory for them. From the amount of times we've seen Nepal make their way to PMGCs before and do pretty decently well, but never towards that top side. DRS has really turned things around this past year. They look so fantastically strong, and you know what? They are the real soldiers now.
They are the real soldiers. You know what, Blank? This lobby is looking a bit like Christmas leftovers, because it is a turkey sandwich. Turkey at the top, turkey at the bottom here. I know it's the other way around to what you would normally see, but Fireflux at the bottom. The fact that they are the team at the bottom shows you how powerful the entirety of this lobby is, right? This is a team that people fear when they think about the Turkish region. And they have a 5.5 average score in this lobby, which to be a bottom place score is still really high in general. So I'm absolutely loving the action we've seen so far here. Match 17 of 18. The final Miramar, and this is where we find ourselves.
S2G.
सीधे विकास लिख देता
Certainly I would say Fireflux is that team that people
लगता है
thought would be on top, but I think for S2G this has really been a chance for them to establish that dominance and show just what Turkey is made of. And I think that all the clutch players on this team, Razy, Kalsi, Pmgc, every single one of these players, including Silas, a veteran of the scene, it has been a long time coming for success for S2G, just in terms of the players they currently have on board. And I think that throughout the year, people keep telling me, you know, S2G, man, keep watching out for S2G. And I'm like, okay, I will. And, you know, it was never always towards that top side. You know, I was like, they're a pretty good team. They've got some
If
cool
you are
moments.
there, I mean, like, go
And
say
they
hi,
really
bro.
surprised
No
me.
problem.
They really excited me. And then we get to Pmgc 2022.
Yeah,
Now it
yeah,
feels like a
Goala.
chance that they
Yeah,
could
yeah,
take home a
Goala.
storyline which will be forever etched into the pages of 2023 and remembered there forwards.
Would be an excellent foundation upon which to build their year. The ride to glory. Silas, Razy, Hamzy, Kalsi, all contributing so well to this roster. And looking to try and convert. The 19-point lead they hold is not certain. It's a bit tenuous, but still a bit of a breath of relief for them at this stage.
Once again, Nova takes up a lot of these positions that Inco's been taking. And right now, I think Nova's been holding them just a little bit better. Inco, though, want to reframe themselves towards the top, make Brazil proud. And now they have to face off against the two-time champions themselves. It's Nova here in the compound. Inco have already made their way in. Nade out the side, won't do too much damage. Frozen, tickle just a little bit.
Nenebete peeks out, gets a little bit of damage over onto Frozen again with the nade. Paraboy not going to be able to suppress the door frame just yet. But Jane is here from T2. And we'll go for the spray down as well. Slow down Nova on the approach and maybe a little bit of a gift for Inco at a crucial juncture for them. Nova, they've let it slip just slightly. But they will not give out. Not yet. They have more staying power than that. Paraboy still on that ridge line. Squash suppressing that position. Becker, Nenebete close. Auto shotgun for Nenebete and through the window will slow things down. Squash from the staircase. Sees the muzzle flash from Paraboy. Sees the tracers pierce the smoke. And sends one back straight through the heart of the off angle from Nova. Squash, spray around the side, a drop shot. The Frozen hits the up as well and will be able to find another knock. Squash pivotal in the fight, but Jimmy's still active. Seen too that will not go their way, and Nova's hopes have crumbled. 111 points going into the final game, and that is not going to be enough for them, Blank.
I think that's it. I don't think we are seeing the 3P. I think we can confirm it right here, right now. Will it be another Chinese team on top, though? Will 4AM take them all the way, or will we have a different region, country representing that title? And will that title be represented in the home country for 2023? There's a lot on the line here for all these teams. Brazil kicked things off so strongly towards day one. Can they maintain that presence? Happy to see Inco there. They really brought things back. I think that was a fight that they took phenomenally well. They did get a little bit bailed out there by Jane when Order went down for a very long shot from T2K. But regardless, it was well placed. It was well played. They got into the building early enough and set up there and after. So very well done to Inco. Now sets them just a little bit behind S2G. Still, that lead is fairly strong.
4 Angry Men close to the 3 players from Vampire. Remember, they lost a player to a hot drop.
Guys, इनको stalwart in the chat, guys. GG कर दो यार. एक बंदा भी नहीं खोया हमने. 4 के 4 नोवा वालों को दिया भाई.
4 Angry Men sharing Los Leones with them right now. Happily so as well. You don't really need to be too worried about having another team in Los Leones. There is plenty of space. You can house comfortably 3 squads in this location. And even then, 4 Angry Men, they're playing 2-2 splits, so they're not even fully in there.
Take a look around the map at the moment with this shift. Inco, central, the first time in a long time. This will give them some real agency into this game. This could be exactly what they wanted, what they needed, John.
Alpha 7 and DRS both on this eastern side. Potential for them to come into conflict on the hills of Impala.
यहाँ तो पेलन पिलाई हो गया बे।
Impala right now will be playing
पहले
edge as
हमारा
well, but they're close
एक
to
टीम
Fireflies.
मारा, अब हमारा दूसरी
Their
टीम
Turkish
मारा।
counterpart at the bottom of the tables to their south
पेलन
side.
पिलाई हो गया।
If S2G take a straight shot to the circle, they
T2
crash
के वाले
into
से लग ही नहीं रहा।
like Stalwart. Further than that, Wolves a little bit further south, but that western side has plenty of cover for them to operate around.
Influence Kevin coming in from the south, in the north. Vampire Esports down towards that south side. Remember, they are 3 players strong, purely off the back of that initial knock coming through from T2K.
PUBG में इनको stop करने के बस bro. We didn't see their jersey.
But S2G, like you said, John, coming in from Picardo, a difficult rotation for them to make. They're on the outside. So many other teams have already found these big compounds.
Mortal predicting
center.
ST. अरे
See if they
Mortal
can find
भाई.
themselves
Mortal is a legend.
an area, a little crack, a
उन्हें बोला
crevice.
तो
They can squeeze themselves through
हो ही जाएगा.
towards a good position. They might be able to play out the end of this game. Remember, Miramar, definitely their best map here in the Pmgc.
The fact that the gap between 1st and 11th place blank is less than 50 points is incredible. Normally we see that sort of gap between 1st and 3rd. It is so tight. But S2G have that 19-point lead to be playing around.
Superior
This game, which means they can be a bit quieter, but with Inca already on 3 eliminations in that central location, they cannot let it rest.
That's the real issue, right? Inco being in a good spot. Inco is able to catch up just a little bit. S2G's lead coming into the final game becomes the scariest thing, and this is what I'm talking about. The best team on Miramar by a landslide. 41-25 Turkish teammates over on Fireflux certainly
make
them look good, but look at that, 9K
के लिए बुरा लगा.
top on Stalwart, closest
मुझे
behind
अच्छा
them in Kelsey with 6,410. Top has certainly been
My team is
putting the rest of
bashing
the
them,
team
why not?
on his
Like
back
bro,
and just
इनको इस
dragged
टूर्नामेंट में पूरे
limbs
टूर्नामेंट
dangling
में as an underdog है.
through this PMGC to where
समझ
they
रहे हो?
currently are, 137
मतलब last
points.
stage
A
पे
team that
qualify
we
भी हो
cannot
गई
count out, and godlike.
ग्रुप से निकल के
Been
उसके
so
बाद
hungry
भी
for this first place
बड़ी
title in
मुश्किल
such a
से
long time. We
last
can't
moment पे
count them out at
qualify
this
हो
point
गई.
in
So
time. They're certainly sticking to their namesake. They are very much Stalwart.
S2G को हम पे आना पड़ेगा. We have a better positioning and we
Circle
have a higher
shrinks
advantage.
again, leaves Los Leones in the dust.
लेकिन वो हम पे नहीं आएंगे. They will go towards the Bulls.
An Impala right on that eastern
They won't
side
come on us.
in the mix. DRS
Unless
close to
they
Alter
decide
Ego.
otherwise.
DRS
ये
remember
लग गई
chasing
artery
team
board
currently
DRS पे. बता भाई.
19 points behind S2G. So every point would matter if they're able to pick up something sneaky here. Spotting the player starting to roll out from Alter Ego. A spray, looks for one, has to duck back behind because Pondbit's close by and knows that he'll be moving up to deal with it. Potato on the left flank for rules to be worried about as well. And now Alter Ego can take this fight with
both
knowledge.
are best,
It's
bro.
going to be a real slow fight here for Alter Ego.
Inco is full of
The DRS
talent.
though,
Godlike
this
is full of
is
talent.
A real blockade
Steve's
that they
full of
did not
talent.
want to see at this
So
stage in the game.
we
especially
are
down towards the
partnerships
southeast
very
side where
wisely.
honestly the terrain is very difficult to traverse. One
Very
knot goes
nice.
through though, over towards Alter Ego,
Nice.
Pombit down, Vampire Esports find one on towards Pick
Good
Feet.
run, baby. Gay Bulls.
The Wolves in their fairly central location will be under threat from a lot of angles. A second knock
DRS ने दो
towards
बंदे
Alter
उतार
Ego
दिए Alter Ego.
for DRS.
मतलब ये आए ही थे. ये लो DRS
Beneath
हो.
S2G are
कुछ point
circling.
कम रह गए होंगे तुम्हारे लेने.
S2G on that southwest
ले
side,
लो.
moving through Los Leones right now.
क्या तीसरा शायद नहीं
Have
बच
not
गया.
managed to pick up their feet and gain speed so far, but they are still 4 strong, and it's still very early doors in this
ले,
Miramar
यहाँ
stage
से
3.
Alpha 7
Too
वहाँ से
early
ओके
to call.
शाबाश बड़. Oh nice. Top ने फिर से knock दिया देख.
Sits down, sits back. DRS effectively deals with the challenge in front of them.
Action in
Even see
दूसरा
a
knock
blockade.
दिया.
As the front bumper smashes through
DRS
it.
ने
Potato has been spotted, laid broad as well. Mythic,
अबे
further up the
मिथिक
hill,
को
but
पकड़ ले
Killers
भाई पहले.
more preoccupied.
Got that fancy feet, or at least the fancy knee work.
Doesn't get stolen away. That's another point for DRS. 3 eliminations now. And Mythic somehow gets away with the angle that he was holding.
Okay.
Crawls over to the rock, and Buradama close by to see that it's even harder for Alpha 7. They've let it slip away just that little bit in 6th place, but they are still close enough for 2 matches to make a massive difference.
S2G take a real interesting rotation, actually slither in behind Fireflux, down towards that south side, play in that position. Looks good to me, in fact, because they'll have some high ground to mess around with. Down towards that northern side, that fielded area. Real difficult to play.
knock top में.
Impala still just about in. We could have those eastern shifts going through, but I doubt it at this stage of the game.
Will's beautiful.
Our real contenders here that we are
Top
watching
का
out
10
for,
के
4
damage
AM
होने
over
वाला है.
towards the west.
Yeah.
Just outside Vampire Esports, still with
Let's
4
see,
players.
let's see.
A major sticking point for them is losing Svan early. Tends to go for these outrageous scouts recently, and I think that doesn't necessarily have to go for the best position in the circle, just go for a position where they can play as 4. They play as 4 much better together. I think Svan's trying to take a lot of these games into his own hands. Don't think that's necessary. We saw what they were able to do earlier with the power of that teamwork. But he is a key member of that team.
Could S2G be rotating in behind DRS here? There is an opportunity for them to potentially slow things down. Inco have managed to make their way central yet again, and they will be holding on the crossroads with the Chi Junction to their south, Buriram across the road. T2K behind them. It is treacherous every which way you look.
एक काम करो अब जब सब एक साथ watch party करो.
The only team
ये
in the top
मैंने
5 yet to
Discord
get
की
an
link
elimination
डाली
well,
हुई है
S2G and 4 Angry Men.
जिसको आने में जाके आ.
We've said that their playstyles feel fairly similar.
Whoever wants to
This
come
position from
and
Inco,
join the Discord can come and join me.
This is horrible. They would like to leave, and Buriram's got them dead to rights here. Few shots going through is all it takes, and I think that they're lacking the medical supplies. Either way they move, this is pretty much a graveyard for them. There's no coffins, but he's certainly covering with the hay inside that little shack they're playing in.
The saving grace they have right now is the fact that no one can really push them at this stage. But if they get spotted, that's kind of it. Inco, they have been spotted.
It's a horrific spot.
T2K open up. There's a shot back over towards Fireflux, but you've got to wonder if it's going to really make a difference. They are just getting picked apart here out in the open. There's nothing to do here. Vitali, last standing, might be able to stay alive as a solo, but that is Inco torn to shreds.
I mean, those 3 eliminations from earlier over towards Nova were decent. But taking a central position like this, and
up a point for it, and now there's shots over towards Godlike Stalwart that they can take. They do need to have a route into the circle, and 2 knocks have been found. Scry loses a smoke, unsure about where to really be worried about, but Schwepp looks to mount up. They know there's knocks, they know there's chaos here. Fluke leads the charge, down and out wide. Vampire, remember they lost the player early. Scry taken down on the opening run, and up to the vehicle they go. The burnt out husk of the pickup truck will be now their operating point. A lovely little shot around the edge, looks for more. Pika wants to heal, a breakout wide, gets punished, and now Godlike Stalwart down to 2 active. 1 knocked down onto the floor, Ravenclaw cut out of it. Unfortunately, T2K are just third partying everywhere they can spot. Pika hiding under the hay. Somehow it's protecting him from the fire. Another nade could prove to be disastrous if it lands on the target. If it's on the money, it's good, but falls short just.
Schwepp sends one back, hopefully on target for Vampire. Another Molotov right into the crevice, but it goes far again, and Pika's going to send one back, and it's right next to them. Svan from 4 AM takes that shot over towards Schweppes. It looks like 4 AM starting to rotate over towards this western side. You can see now Svan's on our screens, taking shots over towards inside that smoke, ensuring there's no players inside that one. Vitali also in the sights, but 4 AM will have to move further in. So will S2G. Calci currently behind DRS John, checking out their rotation, checking out their mark.
चल शाबाश 2-4 kill तो निकाल के ही.
The res back south because Fireflux have managed to spot Svan.
Svan going down again. We said this earlier, is that That is like a very bad thing for 4AM to lose. Now S2G looking towards their position, rotating almost hand in hand with them. And now 4AM has to play without their star player. See if they can realign themselves, restabilize versus S2G. But that Mini 14 from Calci looks extremely dangerous, and Pmgc equally on so with a beautiful spray from the M4. Needs to reload instantaneously. WWX gets out the way, but there's still targets available to him.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire, though, because DRS are across the road. Another team in the same situation. They both started on 140 points blank at the moment. DRS are ahead, but it is such a squeaky tight gap. Luke gets taken. Another player knocked, and it's 1 versus 1. Ravenclaw, did he get spotted? I don't even know who took it down. It was Buradam with a third-party engagement, and Vampire will be denied.
Stalwart up to 3rd place now. 5 eliminations, 137 points. With that 5 at 142 now, just behind DRS in 2nd place. S2G still going strong though. No eliminations as of yet, but I think they're starting to encircle a lot of these teams down towards that south side, concocting a trap in this area for anyone to fall into, and already it's this ditch that S2G didn't quite push up towards, and 4AM has been forced to find themselves in. And S2G look to be more and more confirming their championship title as these matches go on. Who will challenge them? Will anyone challenge them?
DRS really the only team now that can really have a shot here. Alpha 7, they do have an outside chance, but S2G
because circle आ जाता है से यार फिर open से बात किया अभी ये तेरे सामने पड़ा है भाई 4AM को खत्म कर दे भाई.
Just over this ridge from Hamzy, spots the backpack, and that should be curtains for 4 Angry Men.
गया दूसरा competition
on 140 points, and in comes a push. Buradam and IHC going head to head. Kengzo close by. Look at a maybe look for a heal, try and get something done. Tiger is there as well, does manage to pop the heal from Kengzo, but the burn from Alex sees Tiger low. Last player standing needs to confirm that heal. Kengzo wants the reses as well.
IHC. So around the side, Kengzo, oh no, doesn't even want to take a moment to breathe, and that might just be curtains for Buradam. That moment of unbridled aggression coming through from Kengzo spelt their downfall.
भाई पीका निकालेगा, पीका placement point निकालेगा
towards that circle. Vitali in the mess
further ahead of them. There's a foothold there. Solke moving closer to the position for S2G. As time goes on, S2G don't even need to get too many more points. The placements will start to add up from them. And they had that 19-point buffer to play with. 10 points again. If they can reach that margin, nobody can catch them. Turkish team. There's all 7th place, 2 eliminations. It's not the biggest points total and could open a window for DRS.
टर्की की 2 टीमें आपस में लड़ रही है. शाबाश, लड़ो.
DRS is 4 right now.
ये तुम ऐसा ले ले टर्की का, ये टर्की की सोल और गॉड लाइक है.
Total.
S2G और ये.
On the southeast side, Pmgc falls will be confirmed, and now the turkey sandwich closer than ever here.
I don't think it's pushed. अबे उसने गाड़ी से कुचल दिया.
I'll be aware of who it is now, certainly. Nades keep on going in long. That is right on the money, but just finds some cover, I think, around the edge of that buggy wheel. Somehow, doesn't do too much.
वरना अगर इन्होंने यहाँ पे क्लच दे दिया ना, इसको अबे पी कर गया.
Somehow, doesn't do too much there. And Razy continues the bombardment, continues that pressure. Fireflux have slowed it down quite a lot. Solus has broken out quite wide as well, and a line has been established, but they do have to go further. The zone will push them in. 3 players active, live and kicking for S2G. Solus rolls forward into Calci's crosshairs and shut down with the M4. The reload is good as well, and no one there to refrag. Ketch and Lutz may be lining up here as Razy swings out around the side of the smoke. Could be caught out to a cheeky little stand-up by Solke. but he's biding his time with the smoke on the cover. Kelsey. How is he still alive? Have they not spotted him? Solke either way steps up and Ray-Z takes him down, and one player left for S2G. They will fall to Fireflux. 5 eliminations for DRS, 2 eliminations for S2G. A 6th place finish. It's not going to be a massive points game for them, and that 19-point buffer will be eaten into now.
DRS can definitely take this even further, with the circle not shutting them out just yet. It's getting a little bit terrifying. Law, last remaining for Influence Kevin, will be taken down by Alpha 7 here. A Brazilian team looking to get back on form towards that top side, have a chance in that final game of today. Certainly still doable for Alpha 7. IHC off in the distance. Next circle will decide all. There is so much interesting terrain in this final circle. But I'd say northeast, northwest, and the south. Whichever side this circle decides to center up on, it should win, but it goes right towards the center, and everyone's forced to push into unfamiliar ground. But A7 made that move early. Proactive gameplay. We know how fast, slick these guys are with it.
Alpha 7 have got such a good stronghold now with those silos to use as cover. They can have some pretty significant control. All that it's going to take is IHC having to leave the high ground on the compound that they hold for them to be isolated. And that's going to happen fairly soon. The zone about to shut in about 10 seconds from now, Blank. Fireflux, south side, will need to push in past DRS. They played spoiler to their countrymen. And now DRS on the chase. Can they reignite the S2G hope?
Fireflux send in DRS. Giante looks out the window, takes some shots. Lutz is already down to rules, and DRS are holding pretty well already. Lutz already out of the picture, but rules gets taken down. But look at this, Alpha 7 off in the distance. They're sending in, they're taking no chances.
They're fighting off against Fireflux, though not DRS, which means that there is still another contender against their spot to be worried about. Gianti is split from the rest of the roster. Ketch is allowed to get this res onto Solus, as Gianti not quite finding the utility. There is a burn there, could spread. They do need to move, but he wants to put more into the mixing bowl. Solke low on the outside of this engagement, spotted out by Delta, and 7 eliminations now for DRS. This is big, 4th place already, a 19-point differential between them and the top dogs, S2G, and they want to get more done, but Ketch has other ideas. Forced into the burn. I'm not too sure what you're trying to do there, Ketch, but we'll go down to the play zone, and DRS is still going. 3rd place now, a 17-point minimum gain for DRS.
10 eliminations for Fireflux on that one. That might see them a bit further up the rankings, and no longer, sadly, in that 16th place. Revo moving up, spots the smokes, knows there's got to be players around this location now. Just about spotted that shoulder peeking out from the top of the smoke. Might be going down here in 3rd place. Mythic behind, waiting, ready, raring to go.
If either Alpha 7 or DRS take a chicken dinner here, this is huge for the top of the tables.
S2G's got to be a little bit more worried. So unfortunate, but for the rest of the tournament, S2G has been absolutely stellar here on Miramar, and it's match 5, day 3, where they dropped the ball with it. This was meant to be their hope over on match 5. That would give them some decent points, knowing that they are the kings of Miramar. But at the moment, they've been dethroned. There's been a betrayal.
इसके बाद ST आएगी #3 नहीं #4 हो जाएगी अगर Alpha 7 बाहर होगी. Alpha 7 has to lose.
The better it looks for a Brazilian playing team to have a chance here. They started off so strong. Remember, the first day ended with the Brazilian 1-2-3. Inco, Alpha 7, Influence Kemin all at the top of the tables. We thought Alpha 7 might have dropped off day 2, but day 3 has been good to them. 5 eliminations now as they wither IHC stepping up towards them. Carrillo wants to take the fight aggressively. It's characteristic of Alpha 7, but a nade over to Mythic on the off angle might give them second thought, might give them pause here.
Points, they know they need points, and they can confirm it is good. Anything they can get at this stage of the game is brilliant, but they lose another. Alpha 7's down to just 2, and it looks like Delta's cutting out the vehicles from Alpha 7 now. Revo in the back, the clutch maestro from Alpha 7 looks to maybe 1v2 versus DRS, but this could still be a chicken dinner for them.
Yeah,
Even the tide here just a little bit.
It could go any way right now. Stage 9 is closing in 5 seconds. Most central, IHC's position at this stage, Alpha 7, will be cut out by the line that IHC have established. Demo is there, but that's spotted by Killer. A beautiful opening pick for DRS to try and move away from this roadside window for so long, but Revo is there for the refrag. And 3 players for Alpha 7 now back in and healthy versus 2 from IHC and 1 from DRS. IHC with 2, Godless, Zeol, both looking to rotate around into the buggy. Might be a mad send. Killer needs to get rezzed here, and Delta will try and stick that one.
The blue is going to push them at some
Yeah,
point.
he match up, right?
Refrag Revo has
Last
to do
match
something
में पता
special
चलेगा
going
मुझे तो
forward.
लगता है उसको
Leo
पूरा
with the
पड़ा
assault. For a bit more, you're
मैं
already
ऐसे
close to one.
#3
Delta starts to crawl through, positions himself just slightly past that cylinder there to make sure he can spawn him, but already
Very
Godless
nice,
finds
very
Gurriel.
nice,
For
very
Revo,
nice.
it's really important to find that pick over towards Delta, but he's helping out the rest of his team. How much further can DRS get?
इसको डेल्टा यहाँ से देगा डेल्टा just has to wait.
Crawling up from the pits, all these teams with so much to play for, scrambling over one another.
Okay.
And it's Alpha 7 to push DRS's head under and keep themselves afloat. In Miramar, 3 versus 3.
ST4 पे है ये I think.
Taking an aid from
लेकिन
Demo, and
IHC को
IHC might slow
100%
things
मारना.
down.
Oh, this
And make it a
guy.
little bit closer, but Revo is
VD,
not going to let that
VD,
happen to his team.
VD,
Not here, not
गया
now, but he
दूसरा,
might not have a
very
choice.
good.
Godless moves in, and Demo when he's
2v2,
back is
2v2.
Mafioso to go.
Very
And
good.
IHC
GG,
is taken away
GG.
from both DRS
South Asia
and
की team ने
Alpha
South
7.
Asia को बचा
Like,
लिया.
the top of the tables is so tight.
It is
I think हम
unbelievable
#3
right
ले
now.
रहे हैं.
Tighter than a yoga
इनने कितनी
score. I
kills
can't
निकाली?
believe
Alpha
what I'm
7 ने?
seeing at the moment. But I'm
3
ready
2
to
5
watch
2
some more
7
over in match 6.
7
Goodness me.
yeah
It's gonna be a
7 kills
disgusting
17 point.
ending to this tournament.
Pata hai.
I mean, I am not sure who is going to win, but I'm sure it's going to be absolutely
This is
electric when we get to
going
that last game.
crazy.
So many teams with a chance here, Blank. It's got to be at least 5 teams in one game who can win this out. At least that trophy sat
Everyone's
in
got
between
dibs.
every single team at this stage here in Jakarta. It's
What
so
we-
close.
What we do know is that the 3P is not on the line.
That's
It's
true.
going to be a new champion this year. And what better year to have a new champion than the year of improvements, of evolving throughout the entirety of the scene, throughout all the countries, all the regions. Everyone's getting better. And it just shows the 5.5 points average towards the bottom of the table. It's just unheard of most of the time.
Incredible stuff coming through on Miramar, and IHC the ones to take it home, right? I don't think you would have called it, but either way,
No,
they slow out the
absolutely
7 and everybody else around them as well. IHC take the chicken dinner. We're going to head over to the analyst desk.
What an absolutely crazy performance coming out from IHC. Somehow they win that late game fight. And I was so worried for IHC in the early stages of the game. Win that fight against Buriram, because that's where it all started.
The unsung heroes. I mean, this is what I was kind of talking about, right? The spoiler roles that were going to be coming into play at one point, and that just happened. Alpha 7 had a chance to put themselves, actually, I mean, they still put themselves in a great position if they would have gotten that win. By the way, Revo, we got to give him some credit. He played out of his mind in that game, and he definitely did a lot to keep Alpha 7 there within the top 2.
Yeah, Revo absolutely chef's kiss in that game. Absolutely something of beauty. But S2G, the fact that they go out earlier than a lot of those teams towards the end enables a lot of the teams to still have a shot for that first place, for that trophy to claim to be the best team in the world. And they're taken down by their Turkish brethren of Fireflux. I think that qualifies 7 as treason.
I think it does. And what's crazy is that those two teams are just so used to playing against each other. If there was a team to take down S2G at that moment, it would be another Turkish team, right? You couldn't write anything more poetic than that. And I want to kind of go back a little bit more with SGG because we saw them making some weird rotations. We saw them playing super passive, like they were trying to go for those placement points, and I feel like it definitely backfired in a way. And it's something that I always hate to see when teams do. They decide to just switch it up, and it ends up hindering them. I'm hoping going into this last game, that is not the case for SGG.
That playstyle could have worked out for SGG if they were able to survive a little bit longer, get more eliminations. The fact that DRS survived so long into this game, the fact that out of it, got so many points, they're back in the race, they don't have that cushion anymore. They're not safe anymore. Teams down below them can still catch up.
27 points on IHC with the chicken dinner, 12 eliminations in that game as well. And I do want to highlight Alex, his performance, his fight against Bullet kept them in the game. And Alpha 7-7, 19 points as well, same place, they're still very much in the race.
They're very much in the race. I mean, those 7 eliminations, I don't even know how many of those eliminations were actually from Revo, but the 19 points total, that's massive. You were just talking about it too, Max. DRS Gaming, 18 points, and Godlike Sour with those 18 points as well. I mean, like, I think Blank said it best. It might come down to 5 different teams having a chance at getting that first place.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 5-6 teams. I am so hyped to see exactly what the leaderboards are going to be looking like right now. But, I mean, DRS, we call them like a more silent team. They've been ramping things up to the point where today they're getting banger after banger. After banger, the power level is just so good. And T2K, they're like the third-party turrets in the lobby. They're just most assisting DRS in some way, shape, or form.
And for me, one of the teams that I kind of gonna a small shout-out to has to be Inco Gaming. They had the lead at the start of the day. I felt like that team definitely started to crumble there under the pressure of the last and final day. And another one is that we are not going to have a three-peat anymore. Nova out first.
That was a downfall, but you can't get bleeding just a little bit there because that was the point where everyone realized it's not going to happen again. It's not going to be
20-point difference.
Come back to one of the teams.
Bro.
That's what I also want to talk about, which is
last game,
the fight from SG against Fab. We just talked about it. They just took themselves out. SG still took home 6 points though, so they are probably still in the lead, and we only have one more. Some teams looking out for them in the kill feed. We're going to see some tactic switch-ups.
We do like to speculate about hot drops happening in, like, you know, your PMPL finals and your championships in your PMWI. We are talking about a PMGC Grand Finals here. Do you want to play it all on a hot drop? That's too much for me to answer.
I'll tell you after I see this overall with. Oh, okay.
It is close.
S2G 165 points. DRS Gaming
7 teams.
Okay,
I would say 7 teams.
7.
Right down to IHG, like, of course, going to need a chicken dinner and teams at the top to get nothing, but that is going to be my limit. 7 teams currently in the race.
Okay, IHG is definitely off for me. For Angry Man, I can definitely see a chance from there. Everybody from up there, I can definitely see them going for that first place.
Nova को 5 squad wipe करने पड़ेंगे.
Them trying to play it differently than how they've been doing. Keep doing what you were doing there when you were getting those wins, when you were getting those great placements, when you were getting those eliminations that put you currently where you are in that first place. With DRS, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better for DRS. A team that 2 of their chicken dinners are coming from Erangel as we go into the last Erangel. It couldn't be more poetic for them. And then you guys were talking about hot drops. You guys were talking about teams that need to be careful about that happening. I'm going to be looking at all the teams here in this game. They got nothing to lose. A team that went from 3rd place all the way down to 16th. I believe that team from Brazil is going to be looking to make a statement, and I would be
I told you, no, it's zone versus ST. It's not a game versus.
At this point, you're just fighting for the prize pool increase going into this because you have some pretty. It's still no $4 million prize pool tournament. That's pretty significant. But as you can see on your screens right now, it's the final game right here for the grand finals of 2022 PMGC. Oh boy, 16 teams all ready to drop on down, and only one will call themselves the champions after this one.
It is absolutely crazy. Let's look at some of the expected drop locations. Now, meanwhile, we have the last couple of minutes to maybe talk about the overall situation. I know you said top 7 is maybe, you know,
it's a stretch. It is really a stretch.
That would mean IHC really does have the opportunity. IHC, isn't that one of the teams? Well, coming back to the hot drop scenario, they would need to have everyone in that top scenario to do incredibly bad. Would you say that's how they should go into this match as well? Literally just pick every fight from every team that you know is the top of you and maybe just go for it. Isolated fight. Let's take it.
You know, I'm going to agree with your point. I think that if there's one team that's currently in the race for that first position that has to go for a hot drop, IHG is the team that would make the most sense, right? So we'll see if it's going to happen once again.
You just be
would
yourself.
say maybe don't
play
go
your
for it, because
natural
even if
game.
you do go for the hot drop,
And
even if you do win it,
they're more experienced
you
than I
maybe lose a
am.
player. You lose two players. They need a chicken dinner for this one. You're taking a risk that I think you want to avoid. So I would say, even if the idea is to go for the hot drop, don't do it.
इस वाली गेम में पता है क्या होगा? नीचे वाली सारी टीमें ड्रॉप फ्लैश करेंगी. सारी टीमें ड्रॉप फ्लैश करेंगी. देखना. मेरी एक्सपेक्टेशन ये है कि नोवा पे बहुत ज़्यादा ड्रॉप्स आए, ड्रॉप फ्लैशेस.
I really want to see a hot job as well.
Yeah.
At the very biggest stages like this one. I think
Otherwise, Nova will try to do something crazy this time.
an interesting thing to watch. Let's look at the teams to watch from both of you. You have, except for SG, you have different teams. Maybe starting off with SG, because obviously they're in the league. Maybe give I want to put you on the spot actually. Give me some percentage of how likely it is that you think they're going to take
Because
over
सबको Nova पे इसके आएंगे, सबको अपना नाम बनाना है.
I mean, with the amount of competition, you got DRS that's been looking super consistent. You got God like Stalwart not being too far away. So many top contenders. I would say we have a 33.333 repeating 3%
Really?
chance. 1/3.
Okay. All right. I actually have my like a solid 69 to 70%.
I was going to say nice, but then you went 70%. So not anymore. Unfortunate. Nice try.
Going over, godlike Starwood though for you, Max, man. I mean, you just talked about that consistency. Anything else?
I'm still wearing the jersey. Okay, it's
Oh,
keeping me
I know.
warm.
And
Okay,
नीचे वाली
still
कोई
keeping
टीम
me
ना
warm
2-4
for a while.
टीम
Showing how much I
एक्सट्रीम
want to sponsor me.
पे ड्रॉप फ्लैश.
I want to see them be on
हमें
top right
छोड़
now.
दो
They've
भाई,
had
हम
the grand
शांति
finals
करें.
curse happening for the longest time, Seven.
Okay,
Okay, stop laughing at me. Stop it.
वाले स्ट्रीम
I want to
पे
see them take this up the win right here. If they take the chicken dinner, they had no chicken dinners the
हाँ तो और क्या
entire
बोलेंगे?
event.
बहुत आसान है.
Pure beauty for them to not only get himself a chicken dinner on the last game, but also claim the trophy towards the very end of the grand finals.
It would be. I mean, for me, it's going to have to be Alpha 7. Just like you are with God like Stalwart. I would have to
Keep on
pick
going.
Alpha 7 too. I mean, they just showed up what they're able to do, especially Rebel after that last game. If he's not going to pop off in the next game, then it's definitely going to be over for that team. But S2G, I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again, just because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see them play differently
that's
than
my
how they usually
voice.
play. I don't want them to be overthinking this scenario of what's going to be, what are the other teams going to be doing. I do wish, though, that they change where they land, and I do hope that they change where they usually tend to rotate, because I'm pretty sure some of the other teams might be trying to play that spoiler role.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you just said right there. Just play your typical, good old, basic PUBG Mobile that you've been doing so far, that's been giving you so much success in these games. When you start overthinking things, well, look at that knockoff effect. That previous game got obliterated. Unfortunately, it's 5 votes, but it got obliterated, right? So just play a typical game, play what you do best, which is going for good rotations and now getting those eliminations when you're in strong positions. That's what allowed them to stand out, and that might be the reason why they can call themselves the world champions.
And for DRS, I said it too, you couldn't ask for anything better. Going into the last game, going into Erangel, going into a map that you have been able to, in a way, dominate. Today they have had semi-good performances there too. If they can just put themselves in a position where they can strike at the end. We saw some great 2-2 splits there too in Miramar that were wonderful. This team has what it takes, and that's why I wasn't going to be giving the 100% to SG for them to be able to take it home.
Let's
because
go,
I
boys.
definitely
Let's go, boys.
think if it's
Let's
going to be
go,
DRS,
boys.
then it's going to be Alpha 7 that can maybe take this.
Talking about good rotations and consistency, something that we hadn't touched on. I mean, well, before we get to the last pick, Poor Angry Man, because they have been popping off today as well. They got their first chicken dinner, and they do have a chance at being PMGC final winners as well. Any thoughts on Poor
लेकिन
Angry
S2G क्या ही खेली है tournament.
On that previous game, I felt
Very
like they
nice.
were a little bit
Very
desperate.
nice.
Like they really wanted to get in circle, they really wanted to get in a really strong position, which I fully understand. But unfortunately, in a lot of times, especially for PUBG Mobile esports, desperation
इनकी
can
S2G
cause
की
a lot-
rotation,
can cause a lot of
aggression,
mistakes.
both were
And in that
perfect.
case, that's what did cause their demise over there on Miramar. Just go in with a calm, paused mind. You might be able to make it work out. We know what this team can do, especially with the knowledge of Svan. This team is pure gold when it comes to their peak performances. You've got to be careful, man. You cannot overthink your situation. You need to be calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah, it's sadly for them, Asman has been getting knocked a lot in the past couple of games, so hopefully that's going to be changing. Hopefully he can stay alive and put up a performance that he was able to put up when they actually got the chicken dinner earlier today, because he was a massive reason why they ended up with that win. And God like Stalwart, I got to bring him in a little bit too, because I feel like this is a team that has been struggling with indecisiveness, whether they're going to be able to be aggressive or not be aggressive. We've seen what
मेरे
they're able
शो
to do
लगे
now,
भाई
the
अगर ऐसी
aggressiveness
जीतने
that
तेरे
they
को
have
500 दे
showcased.
दूँ
And I kind of want to put you
टेंशन
on the
मत ले
spot, Max, a little bit
मेरे
here, since you are
100 पे
number
मेरे
one
500
fan of Godlike Star Wars.
जीतेंगे भाई जीतेंगे जीतेंगे
That's true. I am.
Their Twitter page knows.
दिल छोटा नहीं तेरे से बूम बाम होने वाला
Would you
है
want to see Godlike Star
गॉर्डन
Wars
एसपी की तरफ
continue
से कर
with the aggressiveness that they've been playing, or a little bit more passiveness?
I think Star Wars is at their best when they're aggressive, so that's a big yes. I want to see them keep fragging out, keep on going, boys.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. We have the last game of Pmgc 2022 finals in our hands, and it is once again time to also hand it over to the commentary desk. John Allen and Blank, it's been an absolute pleasure. Take this away.
Thank you so much, Alex, and the rest of the desk. I'm so excited for this last game. Match 18 is just around the corner with less than a minute to go before the plane flies for the last time of the 2022 PUBG Mobile season. Oh, it's all to play for. It could not be tighter.
It's real nerve-wracking right now for a lot of these teams, for a lot of these players. We saw the camera shots, we saw some of these guys. There was praying going on. There was the full anime Death Note L sitting coming through from S2G. They are nervous and no reason not to be at this point in time, but S2G, they have what it takes. It would be an incredible win for S2G to take it all home right now. 165 points currently at the moment, 7 points ahead of DRS. Alpha 7 behind them at 153. S2G need to live here. There are a couple other teams that might be able, with a gigantic chicken dinner, a gigantic win in 4 Angry Men, Inco, and Godlike Stalwart, potentially. But right now we're looking at the top 3. S2G, DRS, Alpha 7, this is it. This is now. This is where they could become the champions, the new champions of PMGC.
Nova are not even on the front page.
PMGC के बाद PMPH शुरू होगा, I guess. Yeah.
With not enough done.
March में.
And not enough left in the tank. You're right, it's looking good that we could crown a new champion to lift the trophy, sparkling in its glory. And now in Jakarta, the last plane path seeks its way from Novo to the Midwest coast.
Southside plane path, Novo. Like you said, the west side coast here, we've seen this one multiple times. We've seen it.
Flight path अपने favor में, come on boys.
This is something that the players, the teams are all used to here in Jakarta, ready to play out their final game. These final important 30 minutes. And those 30 minutes, those hearts better be pumping. Those fingers better be darting. We better be looking at the champion that deserves it all here at the end of this match.
The drums herald us in. Only time will tell now. Who will take this one home? S2G defending for all of today. As we drop out DRS over near Milta, Buradam going to be dropping a little bit.
Military
With potential for a little bit of a sneaky upset there. Inco, they've
no drop flash for us.
Completely out of it just yet. You said they've got more to worry about in those top 3 spots.
Inco though, this plane path, it really ruins their chances so many times. We've seen a few times now where they've been dropped upon, and it looks like they've gone for a bit of a lineup.
Inco के favor में आएगा zone अगर वो movement जल्दी लेते हैं.
I like that, I respect that. Then Abete is even further behind at the moment. No one seems to be dropping close to them. On the other hand, T2K, S2G, very close together. Wolves will be dropping towards Pmgc though. I think for S2G, they've got a little bit of a lone soldier out towards that western side, just the south of 4 AM. Alpha 7 in their drop spot down towards Milta Power, their backup as opposed to North George. They've been forced to play this one a fair few many times here on our angle, having to switch up from the normality of themselves. For S2G, on the other hand, this seems pretty easy for them because they drop towards the center of the map. They're pretty used to playing this type of game outwards. It doesn't really change too much on this plane path for this team. It's just a bit of a longer drop, but for everyone, it's the same deal.
First team to get out of world get out would be S2G in
The
this
advice
match.
given by Nenebete at the end of day one, breathe. That's how you can make it work. Hopefully everybody is paying attention, brushed up on their Brazilian, because they need to heed that information, heed that advice now. It's such a
Come on, guys,
crucial
let's go,
time
guys, let's go.
for the top spots, and the tables so tightly packed. Nobody over a 10-point average and nobody under a 5-point average. This is the closest final we have ever seen.
It has never been nail-biting quite like this. The popcorn
Whatever the result
is
I'm
flying
so
everywhere at the moment.
freaking proud of my guys.
Some of
man.
it's not
So
even meeting
freaking proud of
mouths.
them.
It's on the floor.
So proud of them.
And all these teams are worried. It's those little moments, those little mistakes that might come through, but this is the game where you shore up everything. You make sure every single hole is patched up. There's not a single leak in the ship. You can keep on trucking, keep on sailing, because the waves, they are roaring, they are high, and the waters are not easy. But smooth sailing does not make good sailors here in the Pmgc.
Hold fast to the wheel. Call strong to your team. And look to the horizon. On the tables, there is a top 3 clear. At the moment, looking at how it stands, DRS with 2 chicken dinners win tiebreakers. Unless one of the other 2 teams, S2G or Alpha 7, takes the chicken dinner here, that could be important. DRS, remember, they would win a tiebreaker if it came down to it.
Alter Ego, as per usual, nice and center. Influence coming up towards Yaz. And Alpha 7 passing by Buradam, but again slightly ahead of them. Now Alpha 7, we've seen that they've found it a little bit difficult to keep up on that streak sometimes. The momentum looks good, but when it starts to falter, it falters hard. So losing a player early like this would be terrible news. Luckily, they quickly swing the wheel to the left and veer off to the western side, on towards where Inco and Alter Ego are currently playing, taking a central spot within the circle.
Vampire, they got back-to-back chicken dinners today. They started down in the dumps, 16th place, and I feel like it wasn't what they deserved, and I think they showed that in matches 3 and 4 of the day.
I think a team like that needs to really find their feet much sooner, though. Can't be looking down and watching where you step. You need to be firmly planting those feet with your eyes out towards the future a lot of times. I think Vampire took too long to make those changes. The desk talked about it, we talked about it. Making those changes on day 3 and looking absolutely sublime just does not cut it, especially in this Pmgc where every single
My
team
last match चल रहा है
is
PMGC का
horribly,
भी call
horribly
कर रहा हूँ.
strong.
Okay.
This is the best quality gameplay we have seen. So much improvement, strides have been made this year. Such excitement for next. But who will be that defending champion? Who will be able to mount that honor, to raise the trophy here in Jakarta? S2G so desperately would love it, to take the trophy to Turkey and scream to the world, come and get it.
But the pressure's on now.
ये
It's
S2G पे
debilitating,
आ गई IHC.
especially being in first place at the moment. Looking down on the rest of the teams, seeing how close they are, how quick they are climbing, and how gritted their teeth are in the process. That is when you can become quite terrified. When you can just look towards the top of the mountain, it becomes a little bit easier. Knowing that all you have to do is continue to move those hands up, to keep gripping those handholds and pulling yourself further up that leaderboard. But for S2G, kicking down and trying to keep those assailants away from them becomes quite tricky, because not only that, you're also trying to keep a handhold yourself. Circle over towards this eastern side now. Looking at some of these positions on the map, S2G have moved across. IHC are behind them on that western side. After a good chicken dinner, they obviously are feeling quite good about themselves, and I think S2G may have to worry about that. Surrounded by Nova on the southwest. Influence came into the north. In the meantime, Alpha 7 moved down to a compound just on the south side of the Yasnaya fields. Next circle should be popping soon, one of our hardest shifts out of all the circles in this game, and this will determine a lot of where these players will have to move and where they'll have to go. A lot of times we have seen quite a clear position either on the north or south side of the river. This time we'll go all the way over towards the east, towards Yaz. Very bare and empty position on the map. Not a lot of places available. A lot of these teams already in though, but again, S2G looking for those big points. Big numbers. They're all the way on this western edge. A northern rotation could work here, John.
Plenty of options for them, but moving over the tundra of Yasnaya Polyana Fields on the south side is so barren and difficult to use. Far from ideal. S2G move up to potentially control Yaz Bridge. If they can find 4 AM on the cross, it would be a great result. Not only would they be able to accrue the points for it, but take out an outside chance to overtake them in 4 Angry Men. 141 points to their 165. Sure, it's a bit of a long shot at 24-point difference, but
we've seen crazier things.
We definitely have.
I think holding on to this bridge crossing as well is smart. 4 AM's forced down towards that south side. It clears up even more of the northern edge, meaning that S2G's rotation is even easier, and this is what makes them the #1 team in the lobby so far, is they're always thinking steps ahead at the moment. Alpha 7 take a knock. Disastrous start of this game. Luckily, there should be a res onto this one. Carrillo drops the smoke, but out in the open currently Alpha 7 is. Influence came in. Shouldn't be able to capitalize on this one too much. Send a couple of shots through. Carrillo will position the buggy in front to ensure that this res does happen, and then maybe just dip out of there.
Carrillo looking for the res over onto Mafioso. Super important for them to stay as a team. Back over to the buggy, staying alive. Clashing with Geek Fam. As S2G do not stop 4 Angry Men from moving south, as the bridge that they chose was a different one. Instead though, Chengchen might have spotted S2G looking out for the hold on the northern side. Ray Z, oh my goodness me, he's so open. Takes a shot, takes a hit, back to cover. Such an important little top down there. Chengchen could have had such an impact.
Very quick reactions. Razy was all on his lonesome because Silas is currently scouting down towards that middle, scouts towards Alpha 7's position, makes sure that that is in fact taken. And now they have a little bit more information to play around with. Could head towards Yasnaya. Next circle soon. This game is going quickly now, John. Much quicker than you might have thought it would. That's just what happens when the excitement builds. Crescendo now and bottles over the top. Little boy will take down T2K Jane on the cross. It looks like we will be heading to this horrific area of the map, to that north side, the fielded area. Not many playable spots there, but Alpha 7 super happy with this one. Still has a decent position on the map towards the center to play around. S2G also still in, but will have to regroup.
Influence came in on the north side. Yasnaya is their drop spot. Should be familiar with the terrain, playing 2-2 split. Ooh, as S2G move through to the center. Silas is scouting. He's going to pay out here.
Moving down, actually might be a decent compound for S2G to head towards, but Silas is unfortunately cut short. And now they have to go against 4 AM. That's just 3. This is terrible news. DBS in hand of Ray Z already. One very low. Has to hit this shot. Does. This is great news for S2G.
Chingchen's angle could be pivotal for 4 Angry Men up on the hill. Kalsi and Hamzi a little bit further back. The flush is good with the burn from the Molotov. Good Xiao and Svan both launching nades on through, and Kalsi gets tagged. Svan finds Kalsi on the sidelines, and Good Xiao wants to put another one in. Through the window there, ricochets off burst close, but the burn is in, brilliant, a lot of damage found, instantly has to pop it. The nade in through the window, doesn't quite get the knock, and Svan is low on the upstairs, but Razy in with a DBS, spots the heel, you cannot get away from him, he is on the hunt, looks for more as well, finds the nade in hand, and it will not be found. Svan is shutting down the Razy, he is vengeance, he is the knight, and S2G have Razy to thank.
2 knocks though still went through. And that's to be a quick regroup, a quick refresh from them. T2K is off in the distance. They still have more to go here. Razy takes a tag. Kalsi's going to have to hold on for a little bit longer. And Silas still nowhere to be seen. That one tyre been popped out the back was disastrous for the team, but Razy brought it back together for them.
T2K a major threat at the back now. On the north side, Alter Ego, centre. A little bit further south, Alpha 7, slap bang in the middle, a major barrier. But the big news here, 4 points for S2G.
That's a point, so they'll put them to 169 right now. DRS Alpha 7 yet to find anything during this game. All players back up on their feet. Razy has just pulled S2G back from the brink. With a DBS, he looked unstoppable.
Relentless.
Rolling through like thunder on the stairs.
आप T2 के आई गेम पे भाई या तो इनको उड़ा देंगे या तो ये यहाँ से निकल जाएंगे भाई DBS meta I am telling you is something else
4am will cut short by S2G, who has
यार ये दोनों भिड़ने
the
लग
time of
गए
their lives during this Pmgc tournament from day 1 through to day 3.
Consistency,
ST
and
versus
they ramp it up.
इनको
S2G so difficult to handle, and we will not see a Chinese champion either. That much is for sure. The circle shift comes through.
Wolves, Nova, all passing through up towards Silas's position. Now, Hamzi G realises he has to move down and support. But all through this game, S2G's been fairly split. They need to get back together. Looks like they will grab their teammate and run back to safety. Back to
Fireflux versus
order. Fireflux feeling the pain.
They played spoiler since S2G in the last game, but Nova might be too tall an order for them. However, they have gone fairly even, but Fireflux falter, and they play split. They split their attention, and Solus rolls in so late to this fight. Falls flat on the face, and Fireflux fail to go any further.
Last wala, I think like full entertainment over.
Fireflux going down here. Alter Ego, Influence Kevin, both having a chance now to put up some more points and pass out of the 15th and 16th place.
DRS Bururam. भाई ये तो बहुत fast game जा रही है भाई. बहुत ही fast game जा रही है.
Inco still have to move from a compound.
भाई DRS got picked. DRS got picked. DRS got picked. DRS got picked.
Bad news for them. Playing with 3. Not ideal at this stage in the game. Zone 4, it's too early.
DRS diminished. In the face of it all, a team that I don't think anyone really at the start of this would have called to be here in second place with a chance to take the top spot in the final match. But here they stand, and Nepal behind them.
Exactly, they've really shown the strength of Nepal, but
एक उतारा शाबाश एक उतारा दूसरा
Nenebete hits the deck. There's still players available for Inco, but Stalwart decides to try and get ahead of the pack, try and get ahead of the movement, and Nenebete will force Pika, quickly makes that movement. Becca now tries to support from up high, but it looks like Inco is going to have an even worse time.
There must be trouble ahead for Inco. And indicative of their performance here in the finals.
Keep moving, keep
They
moving,
slow
keep
and
moving,
they
keep
falter
moving.
in this final game. DRS though with a crucial challenge, losing it down to Delta. Could this be the first contender out?
Oh, God.
Delta somehow dodges the wheel, but a hop out and the bullets are there. And
DRS
S2G
bahar.
have less to worry about now. Alpha 7 poised
Action.
in a central spot. The only team now really with a big chance, as Godlike Stalwart have more to deal with than they'd like.
Inco is out.
Come on,
They
top.
cannot
Come
go
on,
much
top.
further anymore. DRS also down. The two teams that displayed great central play and great edge play will finally fall. Can DRS hold on to their second place spot? Or will Alpha 7 overtake them?
Beautiful, beautiful,
A shift
beautiful.
away, and Alpha 7 will have to leave. Godlike Stalwart, 5 eliminations and 4 alive. But S2G in a God compound here, delivered at their doorstep on the precipice of victory here in Jakarta.
So close to it. DRS feels like the pressure got to them just a little bit. I don't think I've ever seen them falter that badly on our angle before. But still, an outstanding performance from them this tournament.
Push.
Any Nepali fans should be proud of what they've achieved here. Stalwart looking for the final members of Budadam to close this one out. Already 7 eliminations. Stalwart want to take this game further, up to 150 points, make that 151. 2 points behind now of Alpha 7 at the start of this game.
2 points separates them from that 3rd place position. And they will be just that little bit further behind the top. And with S2G still as 4 as they are, it's unlikely to change too much. S2G, if they make top 5 in this match, that should be enough for them. As Godlike Stalwart want to rewrite the fate. Tug on the threads and try and control whatever they can. Alter Ego on the west side of the circle. Rez needed after a self-nade, unfortunate. IHC wanting to push in. 3 players active, 3 players alive, with the Rez still going through it as even, but it immediately comes back up. But once more shut down, the lineup is good. Another player was knocked on the inside, and Alter Ego fall down to 1. And the last will find no more room to play. S2G
Come on.
picking up a bunch of these points.
Stealing them from on far
ये
as well.
डिसाइड करेगा भाई. Alpha 7 की फाइट डिसाइड करेगी. पीछे से पिक ना हो.
Now Alter Ego and Geek Fam out. Stalwart lose a player
Pika
here.
खत्म.
Pika now out, leaving Stalwart at 3 players going forwards. Alpha 7 moves a little bit further in, but their eastern side, it's looking tricky. It's looking pocked with teams and players all looking for a little bit more. Mythic spots that position over towards S2G, but that spot is just so good. They knew they had to fight for it versus 4AM. And arguably, if they take this game, they have Ray Z to thank.
4 eliminations from Ray Z in that first engagement. The DBS louder than ever. In match 18, 7 eliminations total. The lead stretches away. The stride is hit. And S2G may have already done enough. Alpha 7 though want to challenge that. Knock over onto Scribe, bringing Godlike Stalwart down to 2. A nade over top from Revo confirms the point. And Alpha 7 begin their march, grim as it may be.
Pushing back Stalwart. They do not want to give up this top 3. IHC, the only others, would be able to challenge it, but they're far behind at this point. Stalwart down to 2 players. Alpha 7, a second place they'd be happy with at this point in time. For Brazil, it would be a wonderful result. But can they go even further? With 8 eliminations from S2G, I don't know how likely it will be. Ray Z up to 6 eliminations, 9 total now.
3 for Kelsey, 6 for Ray Z. Is there anything, Godlike Stalwart maybe, and in comes Alpha 7 for the run. Vampire looking to hold them off and maybe play spoiler. The Brazilian roster fall apart.
Oh, lovely. Alpha 7 bahar.
Will no one else challenge this team. I think not at this point in time. Stalwart with 2 players
3
remaining.
पॉइंट चाहिए यार.
The Turkish casters, the Turkish analysts, they're waving flags on this side. They know it's all but over.
The top spot sat proudly upon right now, with only
भाई
godlike
टीटी को
Stalwart
उड़ा दो
far
भाई,
in the
कोई
rearview
टीटू के
mirror.
उड़ा दो, 1-2 टीम ओवर निकाल दो भाई.
One more twist and turn is all it'll take for S2G to raise the trophy.
And S2G are looking for them right now. They have eliminated so many and so much of the competition during this one game. I thought they looked nervous, far from it. They were prepared, ready to do what necessary to take home the trophy, to take it back to Turkey and guard it like a dragon.
Spray out into the open and stay alive.
Hey, top in action, come on.
The Wolves, the only other team, as 4, and they're trapped right on the south side. Next circle, looking to shrink. Where will we find it? Finally, it moves away from S2G, but blank, it's too little too late to stop them now.
Closing this out with a chicken dinner would be beautiful. Already a knock over towards T2K, and the dominance continues. A 1-2 punch, and T2K sent out of the ring. An uppercut, so deadly. The force from it can be felt from here.
The sightline's known. Godlike Stalwart will have to move. Ray-Z gets knocked, but nothing can dampen their spirits at this stage. Hamzy, Silas, under pressure from Alex Shaw, but IHC will have to leave their spot too.
Spirits bolstered by titanium, as you say, John.
They need to give push on goals. अभी कितनी टीमें निकालनी है भाई?
S2G are living the high life now, and they just want to close this game out for fun.
S2G has to leave the compound. S2G has to leave the compound.
And the run from Silas and Kelsey to lead the charge to IHC. They want to take this fight.
Come on IHC, come on IHC, come on IHC.
To move through. Like sharks, they will not stop. Kelsey with the nade, wants to heal before the fight. And the rest of S2G regroup on the ridgeline with cover.
They even brought motorbikes for the end game. They knew what they were doing.
Spots action. They turn their attention back to the backstab. Everybody else is on this south side, so it is only godlike Stalwart out there, out in the open. As the Wolves take a fight with Vampire. Over the wall they go, into the breach once more. Silas inside, Ray-Z to follow. Ziol on the top rope, Godless and Alex outside.
दो में से एक टीम जाएगी.
Here and around the ground floor of the building. They will find their fight. Will it be the final one? Only time will tell. Alex puts Kelsey to bed, but Alex is traded off. Will not be flushed just yet. Godless last standing, and S2G have one more to deal with. They stay alive. All 4 of them go, and it is not going to stop here. The Terminators from Turkey crunch down on IHC. Nova up to bat. Is it the last? Is this what S2G are looking to find to take on the reigning champions, the defenders? Already out of it. S2G want more. One knock on the inside. Order in to play spoiler. It's big, but is it big enough? 2 players now stand for S2G, and Vampire are in the wings.
Hamzy G takes an insane spot there. Silas down, Ray-Z extremely low. It looks like that might just be it. For S2G, how much further can they go? Only 1 player up in Hamzy G. He has to take it all the way versus Nova's 2. 10 eliminations for them. And now just down to 1. But S2G, what a run they've had of it here.
No nades left for Hamzy. They have spent all they have. And with it, they are rewarded. A clash between Vampires and Wolves.
Crap.
A tale as old as time. And this time around, the Vampires reign on. Nova turn their attention away. And Hamzy, he's been spotted by Order. The leg peeking out. Under the vehicle, is there an angle? Is there a bullet to be found? The needle looking to pierce, and that will be it. S2G, 15 eliminations to close it down. A champion's performance in match number 18. And look at that. Elation for S2G. Emotion coursing through their veins. Nova, defending champions, graciously will hand over the title.
But at least show them that there's still other teams out there that can take it to them. Despite that, S2G went through the ringer to even get to that stage, and 15 eliminations. Zone 9, Vampire looking for the turkey today, but we've already found our turkey right at the top. Now Nova looks to close this one out. That's another one down. Vampire looking for the third. Paraboy is extremely low. Schweppes just has to find a little bit more. Pushed in by the smoke, and that will be it. Vampire take their third chicken of the day.
In the year of improvement, Vampire surge up the tables in the final day, but the title at the top for Turkey. The brass still hot on their path to victory. The boxes litter behind them. It is their time.
You cannot quite believe what you've seen here. These boys will be taking that trophy home with them, and there it will stay. There it will remain until it's placed back on the stage again, and they will defend the title. Razy has to be proud of this moment. He was vengeance in those last moments of the game, in the first moments of the game. DBS2G here. What a way to finish it.
Up the stairs towards the trophy. Turkey sing.
Hello guys, thank you so much. Stream close. Just will end this whole thing by saying that super damn proud of the boys. Bottom se pura 4 pe aa gaye. Unfortunate, but we just did whatever it takes. But yeah, we tried our best. This one hurts, but we tried our best. It was just that circles didn't come in favor. First couple of days we didn't have that great of run, but what a comeback, what a freaking comeback. Congratulations to S2G, what a gameplay. DRS, hard luck, pride of South Asia. We will see how, yeah, I mean, like, we'll just definitely go back and look back at what things where we went wrong and what we where we need to improve. I have full faith in my team. Unfortunately, we didn't have like certain situations in our favor. But yeah, as I said again, super proud of everyone. Top.
The finals.
What a guy, man. What a player. What a freaking monster of a player. And I really want to say thank you to everyone. Every one of you. बहुत support किया आप लोगों ने, बहुत प्यार दिया.
Just enabled his team to hold on to that first place. What a great storyline for the team. They will be able to defend potentially their title in Turkey.
Let's see. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
If this team could have just narrowed down the eliminations, could have just narrowed down the placement points, they were going to be able to take their win, and they did just that. And what a beautiful way to finish it.
Alright guys, you guys take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Some amazing circles to themselves, and not only that, they positioned themselves perfectly to be able to take it to the other teams, to be able to get those eliminations that were